And we are live. So hello everyone who is watching live in chat and stuff. This is episode 47. Got plenty of stuff to talk about. Rog, Lee, how are you?
Yeah, good.
It's definitely not 48 then, as I thought it was.
No.
No,
It is 47.
that's it. It is 47. I think it's 47.
Yeah. So ignore the videos then, Gareth, that I put episode 48 on.
Yeah. They did confuse me, but I've double checked. I'm almost certain it's 47.
Yeah.
Right.
Doing good.
Right, show have an intro.
Everybody can
Yeah, an
hear
intro.
me and hear everyone. My mic, like I said, I'm on a different... Well, I'm on the same mic, but I'm on a different thing. It makes no sense to you guys, but it does to Gary and Rog. So hopefully it's all coming across okay.
Yeah.
Go, Rog.
Okay. Yep. Hello and welcome to Recentered episode 47. If you don't know that we do a forget. Here we go. It's a good start. Can't even get started. Hello and welcome to Recentered episode 47. Our sort of monthly-ish VR podcast. I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you already know that by now. I'm your host, Rog, as decided this, well, all of 30 seconds before we went live, because we're that pro. Joined, as always, by Lee and Gary. It's we've got a bit of a list this month compared to what we normally have. We normally have maybe, 4, 5, 6 games top or something. And I think we've got like 10 or 12 things on the list. So
Yeah, there's loads.
rather than doing the normal sort of like what we've been up to type stuff, we're just going to dive straight into it, really. Yeah. And
I mean, you know where we are anyway. We don't need to keep going over it.
Absolutely. The one thing I will mention is we are going to be taking the summer off after this episode. Gary's really busy. Lee really needs to stop playing VR and get some recovery time in. And it's too hot in here anyway, so yeah.
Summer's a tough one for VR, even if you're fit and healthy and you've got no other life things going on. But we've all got something pretty much going on, or we're all doing other things at the minute. Not so much time in VR. Like, I mean, I can't really do much at the moment until I've had some proper decent physio, which I've started. But yeah, we're not going to go on about us at the moment. Let's talk about the games we played.
So yeah, we'll if anything does come out, like, because I'm sure the instant we take a break, that Deckard's going to release, innit?
So you guarantee that? Yeah, I guarantee something's going to happen.
It's a cunning plan to make Valve do something. So that's what it is. But yeah, first up then, Aces of Thunder, which we're kindly given early access to on PC. I think, well, I've played it. Gary, you've played it. Lee, I thought you dropped into it at some point, but maybe not.
No, I've not had a chance to get on that one, and I caught a bit of PD's video, and I saw him take off and crash instantly, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to probably struggle with this one. It seems more sim based than arcadey, but I don't know. Like I said, until what you guys have said, because I've not really watched any videos on it. I know it's like super early access, isn't it? So,
But yeah, so it's got its good points and its bad points, and the thing, like you say, is in early access at the moment. So I dropped into this. I didn't bother getting my HOTAS out, which has been sat in the other room for donkey's years now at this point. I'm not entirely sure what you can and can't set up at the moment regarding that, because it is locked. The feature set they've got for this early access sort of preview is locked down. You can't really change much.
No.
Including the graphic settings, which are apparently locked to what the PSVR 2 settings will be. I know. I think we had a bit of a varying opinion, didn't we, Gary, on what it looked like. I thought it looked fine, given the fact that I was playing this at one point at 120 FPS wireless.
Yeah,
and apart from 2 little hitches in the space of half an hour, it ran brilliantly.
I think it's just varied. Like the point you're going through on this video, this rings thing that you're doing on the video at the minute, this looks great. That opening, like the opening menu screen, just everything looked a little bit washed out and stuff to me in this. And there's some environments that look really good, and then there's some that just look really like more basic than you expect. I'm going to have to leave the main impressions up to you with this, Rog, because I've been in briefly, but I just don't feel like it's at a point where I want to put that much time into it just yet. And there's a few reasons for that, really. And one of them, you've mentioned the HOTAS thing. It doesn't. You can. It's got like these, like you say, it's got this menu system, but everything is pretty much locked down. You can't change any graphic settings. You can't change a lot of settings at all. You can remap the gamepad controls to work with a HOTAS. So I did that. Unfortunately, when I did that, everything was inverted, and I couldn't. There was nothing within the menu option to make the HOTAS stick not inverted, if you get me. So it was unplayable. Right. I couldn't play it with a HOTAS anyway. So it's got that option, and it does mention that in the little email that we got from it. You can remap it, but it just didn't work correctly for me. Yeah. So I want to play this with a HOTAS, and I just don't feel like it's really at a point for me yet where I want to spend that much time with it. So I'm going to leave most of the impressions up to you, really.
Fair enough. I mean, the first thing to say is, even artful there saying Sonic does flight sim, flying through the rings.
Yeah.
Despite that looking arcadey sort of looking section, this is not an arcade game. The amount of times I managed to put, I don't know whether I was in a different plane at the time compared to what the ones we're showing on the video, but it seems very easy to put yourself into a flat spin. Ridiculously slow at times. There was points where I was almost pretty much just doing a gentle bank, and all of a sudden I was in a spin and going down, and I hadn't been shot.
That happened to me. Yeah, that happened to me a few times in this as well. Yeah.
And you sort of think, okay, this is more of a sim than an arcade game, but why did that happen? I don't understand why. Yeah, other times I've played, when I was playing it, I'm in the middle of a dogfight, and that didn't happen. Where, you'd expect it to happen more there because, there's the potential more for stalling the aircraft or whatever because you're doing silly loops or whatever, trying to follow an enemy aircraft. And I was fine there, but yeah, just flying straight and then banking slightly, and I was spinning all over the place.
Just on that point, because that did happen to me as well, but one of the things I was thinking with that, because it didn't, like you mentioned, it didn't seem to have any rhyme or reason to why that would suddenly happen when I like you, I was just banking around the corner, really. Like, I didn't stall, I wasn't going slow or anything. But the only thing I can think of is something like a Microsoft Flight Simulator will have these air currents in certain areas, and if you hit a weird air current, it can affect your aircraft really badly, and it can do the same thing in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't think these would have modelled that level into this, though. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of, why all of a sudden the plane just went completely out of control.
Yeah.
You can understand it if you were stalling. I can understand it then, but I wasn't. It wasn't like I was struggling for speed or anything like that.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's like I was literally flying at a level sort of speed. I wasn't going slow. I just started banking, and all of a sudden I'm spinning. Interestingly, I know I've mentioned this on the Discord too. The first time I played it, I was playing at 72 hertz. I put it in a flat spin, and I'd been playing about half an hour. I put it in a flat spin. I had to come out. My stomach started going, and I've mentioned on previous episodes as well where I've been having sort of like issues occasionally with sort of like my VR legs. I don't know what's been happening. And anyway, left it, went back in later on when I was okay, and that's when I whacked it up to 120 hertz. Bizarrely, flat spin, 120 hertz, no problem. At 72, my stomach went. At 120, I was fine.
Yeah, that's interesting, then. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've never had a problem with lower refresh rates. I know some people do. I know, Lee, you prefer sort of like 90 or above to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, unless it's 72. If it's 72 and it's something slow paced, like Walkabout Golf or something like that, I can handle it. If it's fast paced, it's 72. Yeah, it's a no go for me. But as soon as I put it on 90, I don't have any issues. So yeah, could be that.
So I don't know whether that. I don't know what's going off there, but maybe I'm getting less tolerant. I don't know. But yeah, it's. Like you, Gary, I want to play this with a HOTAS because if you try and use the sort of like your analog sticks, for me it was a no-go.
No.
I had to use virtual controls, and it wasn't actually bad, admittedly, but you still got that thing where I don't know where the center is. Trying to do very small sort of corrections because you start to use the analog stick to sort of to yaw the plane with your tail flap or whatever. And it's like, with my Warthog, this is years ago, I bought a set of MFG crosswind rudder pedals as well, which are really nice. And it's like, I want them back on it to play this, because this is in no way, shape or form even pretending to be an arcade game.
No. It's difficult with that because I don't want to be like elitist in the sense of saying, oh, you need a HOTAS to play this game, because I don't think that's necessarily true. But at the same time, I use a HOTAS for a lot of stuff, and for me, I sort of do. I do need it now in games like this. But if you just want to get in and play, I don't think it's like unplayable with a gamepad or anything like that. It's just what I prefer.
Not unplayable, but Artful put it exactly right there. You want to have more finesse, and that's exactly what I was missing. I was trying to yaw the plane, and it was too much. I didn't have very fine-grained control, which I know I'd have with rudder pedals.
Yeah.
And so I was definitely missing that. So I'm not sure if, given the level of sort of where it's at, it's my type of game. Because, in all honesty, if it was an arcade game, I'd probably be all over it. I might be okay with this because it's not like a modern aircraft, and you don't have to do 101 things to take off.
Yes,
you can basically throttle it up into air, gears up, and that's all you basically need to do. So yeah, it's one to keep an eye on. The graphics at ground level in places are not good. They, in fact, depending where if you crash next to like a house or a wooden fence, sometimes whatever, which you're not going to see when you're in the air.
No.
It's a non-issue, but when you do see it at that sort of close-up ground level, it's like, whoa, you've gone back 15 years graphically.
For me, when I think it was just the shock of looking at the trailers for this, and then you go in. It's the difference between what they're showing in the trailers and how it actually looks in game was quite stark for me. It looked more washed out and all these other things. That's what I mentioned. And because you've not got any graphical options in there to tune things or anything, I don't think I'm sort of reserving judgment on it in a way, because I think it's just not at a stage where I can judge it either way.
It does use. It has got a bit of a misty effect on the landscape, doesn't it? It does fade things out to the mist, and that does give it a bit of a washed out look. And it's not the headset. You can see it on here. It looks. It could be doing a bit more with being a bit more vibrant, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, one to keep an eye on. The thing it's got going for it at the moment, anyway, the performance is great. Absolutely can't fault it. Brilliant. So yeah, I say it's still a ways off though, with no release date. So we'll keep an eye on it. I'll be interested to see where it goes. Anyway. Okay, next one up is. We've covered this before, but it came out on PSVR 2, and I love the Quest version. And they were kind enough to send us a code for the PSVR 2 version anyway. So it's DigVR on PSVR 2. We've covered this before. I put out like a mini review for it when it came out, because it was one of those games last year. What genuinely surprised me, I really enjoyed playing it. I went a bit mental trying to keep the high scores on the mini games. And I absolutely love this. I love that it was the getting to grips with the controls and being really, accurate and being able to properly manage them, because you're trying to swing the dig around, move the bucket down, rotate the bucket at the same time. It's like you're trying to multitask. And once you get it down, it absolutely, it's. I just enjoy it. I don't know what it is. I can understand why some people might not. But I liked the presentation. It was nice. It was cartoony, but it was well done. It was fun, and it absolutely gets a thumbs up from me. I played all the way through the Quest 1. I even kept going in on the daily things to get all the collectible trophies on the Quest version, and I just absolutely loved it. The PSVR 2 version is it's the same game. It's got they added some time trials into the Quest version quite a while after it came out. All those are in there as well. Although the thing to know with this game is you can just play it at your own pace. The main campaign isn't a time limit. It's about accuracy. But once you've done some levels, it unlocks time trials as well. So if you do want to go for like a leaderboard time trial thing, you can go and do that afterwards, but you don't have to. And I just really, really enjoyed my time with it. I don't know what else to say.
What are the graphics like in comparison? Because the Quest 3 was really sharp and smooth and looked great. Have they done any improvements on this?
So the Quest one, especially with Quest Games Optimized, looked really sharp. This is my only downside with the PSVR 2 version. It's a soft-looking game. It's not the worst-looking game by any stretch of the imagination. It's
But is that the lenses again, though, making it look soft?
No,
you know what I mean?
it's the resolution. You just know it's the resolution. PSVR 2 can do a lot sharper image quality than this. I'm thinking there's no foveated rendering going off. I can't pick any up on the video or anything. You can't see it. You can't see that telltale sign where, if you look at something, if you look at a far corner on PSVR 2, you can see on the video at the other side of the screen, you'll see the resolution, and it's not. I think it's running at whatever it's running at across the entire image. I hope they can sort of tweak that, because it does need a bit of a res bump. But saying that, it doesn't get in the way, because the graphics are big and bold. These aren't small, fine, detailed things. The big cartoon bold graphics, so it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of a downer on an otherwise sort of a port you'd expect. I was expecting a bit more on the resolution side. That's just a shame, but it still gets a recommendation from me to give it a try. I don't know. It's just fun. It's one of those games where, after we did our favourite games of last year back in January, I always sort of thought, should I include DigVR, given how much I liked it? And I couldn't quite put it on there, but it was a surprise for me.
You did love it, yeah.
I absolutely loved it, and I played. I've been playing it again on PSVR 2.
Like even me, I wouldn't say. I definitely didn't like it as much as you did, but I don't think it was bad, and it was enjoyable, definitely. I think they've done a great job with the kind of game it is. They've marketed it really well, and hopefully it has been a good success for them.
Yeah, it's my Power Wash simulator. I think that's how I think of it. I can't stand Power Wash simulator, but I love this. It's horses for courses. That's what it is.
Yeah, and strangely, this game's the one I had the worst motion sickness on, I think, ever in any game I played. Yeah. Like
my daughter did. My daughter did exactly. She doesn't get ill in VR. She played this, and she says I can't play it. Yeah, I was surprised with that.
As soon as you rotate that digger, that were it for me. I was like, whoa.
The slow rotation, and that that will get some people. There is a cab there, sort of anchors you a bit, but you have got sort of like pretty much full screen, very slow rotation. So it could be an issue.
I did promise to try on PD's Roto VR chair as well. So PD, if you're watching, when you get a free afternoon, I'll come round and give it a go. Just to see if I puke at your house or not.
You played this on the Roto, didn't you, Rog? At the event?
The event. I went to the launch event with Dr. Oculus, I tried it on the Roto VR, and in all honesty, I didn't even realise till I saw the video afterwards that I was even turning round. I really didn't know, but it is very slow. This game is very slow. It's not, so it was turning very slowly, so I didn't even notice. Do normal Roto VRs have basic haptic feedback? I've been trying to find this out.
I don't know,
because the ones at the event did, and it were really strong, and that really impressed me.
I think it's on a game basis. On certain games, it has got a haptic feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. But yeah, I like it. If you want something a bit different, give it a go. I think it's fun. But that's me. Now, next up, we have got an absolute rarity. Lee finished a game. So
I did.
Lee, Ghost Town, you're the only one of us who's played it. Oh, I think Gary tried the trial.
Just the trial,
yeah. Go for it. Tell us all about it.
Well, this is the one I kept seeing. I'm in a group on Twitter, and I kept seeing everybody who got access to it saying how amazing this game is, that they couldn't put it down, how fantastic it was. And I know we reached out to the devs, didn't they? And they did say that we could have access to the PCVR version later on in the year. It has got a PCR version, and I believe PSVR 2 as well coming later in the year. Yeah. But I couldn't get hold of the Quest version anywhere, but I managed to. I won't say whatever, but yeah, I managed to get hold of the Quest version.
And legally as well, but not.
Absolutely legally. Yeah,
it was
donated.
Just to be clear,
it was donated to me. And I loaded it up, and I'll get the slight little things that I'm not quite happy with out of the way, and then I get all the amazing stuff out after, so it finishes on a bang. But as soon as I load it up, you're in like a car park, and I moved my head around, and I could see slight glitching, and I said to Rod straight away, I think this is running reprojection, I'm not sure. So I checked in OVR metrics, and it was running 45 to 90. So, usually that doesn't bother me, and we spoke about this before, me and Gary spoke about it, how that kind of reprojection, weirdly, I don't really see it as much, or it's very, hardly see it at all, to be honest. The 36 to 72, yeah, definitely, but this one, not really. But I left it a day or so, and luckily, the Quest Games Optimizer got a couple of profiles came out for it. One of them was 60 to 120, a performance mode, so I tried that for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, and while it ran super smooth, I was getting a little queasy towards the end of it, so maybe that's a reprojection thing. That's too much for me, I don't know, but there's a high-quality HD mode, which is 45 to 90, and a few little tweaks done. I think graphically, I think res it increases, and I played the rest of the game on that, and it was absolutely flawless, smooth as anything. I was trying to find fault with it, and I couldn't. It just ran that well. And what surprises me more than anything is, you can see on this video, this is a Quest game. It isn't PC VR. This is what it looks like on the Quest, and how they've got the lighting, the shadows, the storyline to it is absolutely fantastic. And I couldn't put this down, so I basically played this for like 2-3 days and then suffered for like 2 weeks with my wrist because I couldn't move my wrist. But if you're into puzzle games, you will like this. If you're into, like, it's more story driven to get to the puzzles and then you progress through the story. I don't really want to say too much. I'm trying to think things to say without spoiling it for Roger and Gary, but one of the slight grievances I had was in the menus, smooth turning, they've just got slow, medium, and fast, which is a bugbear of just me personally because they're just set options. I can't increase or decrease them, and the fast smooth turn wasn't quite quick enough for me. Not a deal breaker. I mean, I just moved around where I was stored, or when I was sat down, I just moved around and used snap turning for some of it as well. But it's so good, and it's hard to say without really spoiling it, but I've seen people complain about the puzzles. People complain. It's about 5 hours in it. And people said, it's too short. The puzzle's too easy. And I spoke about this on Discord and said something really clever that I'll probably not be able to remember now. But it was like, you've got to have puzzles that's challenging enough to give you that satisfaction when you complete them to continue through the game. Because if they're too hard and you're pausing to jump on YouTube to see a walkthrough every 2 minutes, that's not a fun puzzle game for me. So it was kind of, some of them did have me struggling a little bit, and you do have that hint system where you've got like a little bit of paper, and you pull it down, it gives you a hint, gives you a second hint, and the third hint basically tells you what to do. And I had to use all three of those on the first puzzle, just incidentally, because I didn't understand what I was doing.
I can't laugh at that because there's a game later on we'll be talking about, and the first puzzle stumped me as well, stupidly, but...
Well, yeah, I know which game you're talking about. Well, what stumped me on that more than anything was the fact I didn't know if it had smooth locomotion or not, but I think it's only got teleportation right. I spent 20 minutes trying to find that out.
That one has, yeah. This is smooth. This one's got smooth.
But I don't know what you think, Gary. I mean, I think half an hour on the trial, you can't. It doesn't really do you any justice because I think after that, 45 minutes to an hour, you go to maybe the third part in the game, and that's what really wowed me.
Yeah.
And I don't think you actually got to that point. Maybe you got up to the lighthouse, maybe, or
that's it,
perhaps not even that far.
No, I got to the...
So what did you think how it ran and how it looked?
Yeah, I think, so once again, I think the reprojection on the Quest 3 is better than on PSVR 2 anyway, right? When I complain about reprojection on PSVR 2, it's a different system, and on Quest 3 it doesn't bother me as much. You notice it because you'll have these, on the Quest, you'll have the text. You notice it on the text on this game, and you don't, personally, I don't notice it too much elsewhere, but when you've got this little text prompt in front of you and you turn your head, that will blur, and it's fine, there's not that many text prompts anyway, so not a big deal with that. The game does look really, really good. It's not up to the standard of Red Matter 2, in my opinion, but it's probably, the second...
Controversial.
It's probably the second best, in my opinion, from Red Matter 2. Once Red Matter 2 got that update for the Quest 3, that was mind-boggling to me how they managed to do that. But I think this looks really, really good. The only place where it's let down a little bit in terms of graphics, and this isn't really a complaint, it's just a limitation of the Quest 3, it's like on the texture resolution. So you'll go through the section up to the lighthouse where you've got these rocks and stuff, and you notice there's a little bit low resolution on the textures. Yeah, whatever, that's fine. This first section, which is in this video now, where you go into this theatre, it looks fantastic. It really does. The video, you can't see it clearly on the video, but some of the environmental stuff that they've got going on in here looks great. The lighting is really good. So yeah, no complaints for me. And also the other thing, the big thing to mention with this, and I heard other people mention this, I think you mentioned this, Lee, in fact, no bugs. Like 30 minutes in, and you'd expect maybe... With the standard of games of what we've got, you'd expect, that's a bit glitchy, that's a bit dodgy, and this kind of stuff. Nothing. Absolutely perfect with this. And I think they've made some decisions where they've saved themselves a little bit. So interaction is minimal in this game. So you see all these things lying around on surfaces and stuff. You've got no interaction with those whatsoever. Your hand will just go through them. Like you've got a bottle resting on the counter or something. Your hand will go through it. So they're limiting themselves by having buggy mechanics and physics mechanics and stuff because they're not allowing you to do any of that stuff. But to me, it's the right decision to make for this type of game. It doesn't let the game down in any way. It just makes it easier and less buggy and less glitchy and stuff like that. So I've not got a complaint of why they did that. The 30 minutes, like I say, it's difficult for me to make a judgment either way. I was very impressed with those 30 minutes, though. I will say that, yeah.
It's just the story what grips me, because you're basically like in a movie. And the little bits as well between levels, because what I will say is when you finish a level, it doesn't put you straight into the next one. You've sort to, I've got to walk up to it, I've got to catch a lift, I've got to walk through the corridors, and you're seeing all these other things as well before you actually get to where your level actually starts as such. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say real life because it's not, do you know what I mean? But it's one of those where you've got out your car, you've got to walk up, do this, that, and to get to your room before the story continues. And I quite like that as well. And graphically, it is quite impressive. It looks a lot better in other parts. Like Gary said, some of the outside stuff looked a bit plain, but there's another part when you're in a house, and it just really felt really good. And some of the things you can interact with certain parts, but obviously they're parts for the game narration and for the game to continue and things like that. Yeah. But yeah, I said to Rog, I think this is the best game on Quest 3. And now I had a while to think about it. I would say it's probably the best game if you're into puzzles and story, narration, things like that. So far, hopefully, games like this will come out. I know it's not made the top 10 when it came out.
Yeah.
The sales, which is a game worrying as they've spent 4 years on it. And, would I see a Ghost Town 2 in 4 years' time? I don't know. Who knows? But as for now, I would say pick it up on Quest 3. It's a definite buy for me.
I would just want to mention as well, like the approach up to the lighthouse, where I said that like you have low textures on these rocks and things like that. That aside, once you get up to the lighthouse, the graphics on that section look great. Yeah. I mean, that could be a PC game, really. And you've got the other thing which we've not mentioned is the motion capture on the NPCs. This has got the best NPCs I've seen on a Quest game. I can't think of another one. Yeah. But even the models, the character models and stuff look really detailed.
They blink, their eyes move. I mean, it's the best use of modern rotoscoping I think I've ever seen.
Rotoscoping?
But no, it is. It's so good, the motion capture.
Yeah.
And it's quite easy. It's quite intuitive. There's not much to it. Like I say, you're not going to lose health. You're not going to die in it. It's just puzzle-based, and it's got a really nice interface. The torch is really good that you use as well. I kept forgetting to use it, thinking, man, it's too dark and I can't see anything. I kept forgetting to pick the bloody torch up. But yeah, once I got through it, I was slightly, I can't say too much about the end, but I would have liked a little more perhaps. But apart from that, yeah, I could understand why everybody's raving about it. And it's just a shame it's not, top the charts and Tales and stuff like that. And I hope that doesn't put them off doing more games like this in the future.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the PC version. I mean, I was tempted to sort of pick it up, but knowing there's like a PC version coming out, it's like, I'll hang on for that.
How they've got this looking like this on a Quest 3 kind of made me mad in a way, because it's like, well, you can get games like this, so why aren't we getting more?
Yeah.
And we know why we're not getting more. Yeah. Because they're not bloody guerrilla games.
But so yeah, definite recommendation from Lee there. Okay, next one. Oh, right. Okay, Gary, some Quest 3 charging station?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about a couple of some Quest 3 accessories. I've got this, and then I've got like a head strap, which I'll mention as well. Okay. And another piece of hardware, the Pimax Crystal Light, which I'll get into some first impressions of that. I've got one of those now as well. But the first one is this MaeckerVR Quest 3 charging station. So they got in contact with me, and I've been looking out for a charging station for a while anyway, and they contacted me and said, do you want to give this a review? So I thought, absolutely, I want a charging station, so why not?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Are you, Rog? Where's yours?
I'll give you their email. Yeah, so this is, you've got the two things on the side for the controllers themselves where they slot in. So you get these rechargeable batteries, these rechargeable AA batteries that you have to align correctly. Then you've got this, the cover, the battery cover is replaced on the Quest 3. So when you dock it in this, there's some pins on the bottom which will connect inside the charging dock. Works really well, or that's the theory. Now, I've got to mention this because this happened to me. I've got to, give this review. When I first put the left one in, it worked fine, connected perfectly fine. I put the right one in and it would connect, but then I'd get a red light and it would start beeping, and nothing I did would correct this. So I went onto Reddit, and other people have had this problem, and they said, "Oh, you need to rotate the battery so that the connection is with the battery cover so that the pins make contact at the bottom." I thought, well, I've already done that. It's obvious what you've got to do. But I went in, double checked, I did that. But nothing I did would correct this. I emailed them and they said that this is a fault which they think now they've resolved, but they sent me out a replacement battery cover. It's all down to the battery cover, and the problem they mentioned is because they have the pins on the bottom of the controller rather than on the side on a lot of charging docks, and this can for some reason create some kind of problems which they believe they've resolved. So they sent me out a replacement battery cover, slotted it in, and it works perfectly fine now. I've got to mention that because if you do order one of these, you might run into that problem. They will replace the battery cover, but you shouldn't have to. It's that hassle kind of thing. So I just want to mention that at the front. I did have that issue. It got resolved. The other thing on this trailer, it's got pins. It shows pins on this official trailer that is on the screen now. It has pins on the bottom of the headset. So I was under the impression that this would charge the headset through those pins that you can see on the video. It doesn't work like that. It seems like they've modified this since that trailer. So now what it does is it has this extra little hole that comes out next to the right controller, and it's got like this little cable with a magnetized USB connector. I've not got it connected because I've got a battery strap, so I'm doing it a different way. But if you're not using a battery strap, what it does is that little cable will just automatically, when you place the headset in, it will sort of lock on and start charging your headset. So it's still doing it in a relatively hassle-free way, but it's a bit more, it's not using the pins. And, I was expecting it to do that. I don't know why. There must be some kind of issue around this, because I know the official one does, but I'm not sure if many of the other third-party charging docks actually use those pins on the bottom of the Quest 3 or not. But regardless,
it looks like this one's tilted though, right? It looks like from the video you're showing now, it's tilted. Because when the person puts the headset in, it sort of tilts downwards a little bit. So I wonder if that's why they've not got the pins in the bottom.
Well,
for a seating problem. When you put it in, it sort of tilts, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, and you might have something there. But what it does is it's got that little section which is designed to tilt. And so it cups it and then tilts backwards. So you would think that the pins would still remain contact. But I don't know. They've obviously modified it since that trailer to work in this slightly different way. The other thing, on the back of this charging dock, you've got some extra ports as well. And that's what I'm using. In this in where you can see now, I've got an extra connection coming out of the back of the dock and going into my battery strap. That will then charge the battery strap and the headset together. So nice. So I've done it that way. At the end of the day, once you've got, as long as future products that they bring out don't have that battery cover problem, I think this is great. It does a really good job. I'm using it all the time now. It keeps the controllers charged. I don't need to worry about changing batteries in those anymore, which, although a minor hassle, it's still a hassle. So it's nice not to have that worry anymore. But yeah, I think it's a decent charging dock. I just wish it didn't have those little problems, and I wish it had those pins as well, as advertised in that trailer. That's the only thing I'd say.
It seems weird, that.
Yeah.
Seems a strange one. About batteries as well, very quickly, I've noticed I've had the update to V76. So anybody watching, or perhaps you guys as well, can help me on this. My tracking is bloody awful. Right? I think that's 3 times I've said bloody now, so I think that was the limit on where I can say it. But I've even saying Rog when we were playing some walkabout mini golf, my club were flying up in the air and all sorts. And also I've noticed it seems to be draining the battery. My right battery, and I went to put it on like this morning, it was drained.
Yeah. And
I'm like, well, surely these switch off, right? Because I switch my headset off all the time. I don't leave it on standby, nothing like that, because Roger's always having a go at me when I'm waiting for updates while he's waiting to play. But yeah, that's twice since I've had V76s. My tracking's awful. and the right controller's drained twice. So I don't know if that's a firmware thing, like it always is, or what.
I was just going to bring this up as an aside because I didn't mention it to you, Lee. I've been running my old Eneloop rechargeable batteries since the CV1, so my rechargeable battery is about a decade old. And I thought, I wonder if this could be a problem sometime. So I went on the old YouTubes, and of course there are channels out there that review batteries because of course there is. And bizarrely, some of the batteries
probably get more views than what I do. To be fair,
some of the ones on Makes that was actually getting pretty decent reviews on multiple channels with the Amazon basic batteries. So I ordered some. No, if you order Eneloops, I think they're about 12 to 14 quid for for 4 batteries. The Amazon ones, it's the same price, and you get 12. Now these are 2,400 milliamp hour ones. The Eneloops I had were 2,450. But I put them into my Xbox controller, my touch controller. They were absolutely fine, and I think they're holding the charge a bit better than my old Eneloops, which are admittedly, like I say, a decade old. So yeah, if anybody wants a bunch of rechargeable batteries for your Quest controllers, Amazon Basic, 1.2 volt, 2,400 milliamp hour batteries, they work out about £1 something per battery, £1.20 per battery or something ridiculous. So yeah. 3 times cheaper than Eneloops, and they seem to be doing a solid job so far.
I'm just checking mine; it's 2,600. But I've also had one of these go down as well, so it could be the batteries that are causing the issue.
Yeah.
You're saying that you could just get one of those docks that Gary's just shown, and that kills all your battery woes.
Well, there you go. But I've got so many batteries now. I've got so many remotes, and little bits and pieces that need AA batteries. It was like I needed some more anyway. So yeah, they seem to work great. But anyway, back to our normal advertised schedule. So, this is me again. iRobot on PSVR 2. So the latest game from Jeff Minter, and if you've been around as long as we have, he doesn't need an introduction. He's been doing stuff since Commodore 64 days. This is sort of a conversion of an old arcade game, which I actually do vaguely remember, but with bells and whistles and knobs on and extra bits. Now I played. What the other 2 main ones he did? The last one was AKR, and then there was Polybius.
Yeah.
Was that back on PS4 now?
Yeah, that was on PS4. That one, wow, yeah.
Okay. So Polybius, I thought was okay. I always felt like it was a bit too fast for me, and with a lack. I don't know. I never felt totally in control with that game. I wasn't that mad on it. Didn't think it was bad, but AKR, I liked playing that on a monitor. In VR, I actually struggled with it. There was something about it I just couldn't get to grips with. I preferred it on a monitor. This one I actually really like. I've been back into it a few times. I think this is the best out of those 3, easily, for me anyway. It's a simple sort of game. It's basically, you start on, it's not even a grid, on a level you can basically walk around on or jump over gaps onto these blocks, these tiles. And each time you go into a block, you flip the tile, you change the colour, and you basically just got to change the colour of the tile, all the tiles on that level. There's an eye that floats off in the distance, and when it's basically sort of mostly shut, you can jump across gaps. When it's open, you can't. If you jump across a gap when the eye's open, you lose a life. It'll shoot you. You lose a life, basically. Jumping across gaps also makes other tiles appear. So you can go to try and actually make all the tiles on a level appear, and you'll get there's an achievement for doing that per level. Apparently each level has got sort of a hidden thing you can do. Like the one on at the minute, if it's in sync, the birds fly towards you. If you shoot the birds, your firepower then can actually take out an entire row of tiles into the distance in one go. So you can shoot enemies what are on the level. Normally you can only fire forwards. Some tiles you can stand on, and it'll give you multi-directional firing. And that's basically the sort of thing, sort of what it is. Between each level there's like a bit of a little Tempest type level. You're flying down a tunnel, shooting stuff for bonuses. And it's rinse and repeat, and it's very psychedelic, and it's a typical Jeff Minter game. And yeah, I really like this one. The other two games I could pretty much leave them. But this one I actually like, and I've been back into it on a couple of occasions trying to beat my high scores. And it's decent. It's good. I like it. Not it's not the most advanced thing in the world graphics wise. It's a typical Jeff Minter sort of, low poly psychedelic looking thing.
You could you could see a screenshot of this and think, yeah, that's Jeff Minter. That's it.
Yeah, you'd know, wouldn't you? You would absolutely know. But yeah, if you liked Akira or Polybius, then you should like this even. I think you'll like this even more. I think it's the best of those 3 games. Yeah, it gets a thumbs up. It gets a recommendation from me. I've been enjoying my time with it. I don't know what else I can say. It's what you get on the screen, what you're seeing at the minute is what it is.
How much is this, Rog? Did you mention that? Sorry, I didn't.
I can't remember. I did buy it. We didn't get this. It wasn't a freebie. No. I think it's round about 15 quid ish, maybe. I think it launched at a little bit of a discount. I honestly can't remember. It's 11.9. Oh, I think that said 11.99. Yeah. Oh, sorry. There you go. 11.99. Yeah, bargain.
Yeah.
If you like Jeff Minter games, bargain. Buy it. Thumbs up. Recommendation. Yep. Nice. Yeah, that's all I can say about it, really. Go get it. Oh, okay. That was me again. The next one. Forgive my pronunciation. Is La Pasión según San Marcos.
That's very good.
I love how you tried to put a bit of an accent on there.
Yeah. So I have to do the same for the House of Da Vinci afterwards. But yeah, so La Pasión. This is like it's an experience. It's not a game. It's basically you call it an operatic type thing. There's a couple of different styles, bits of music in it. I should have made notes down. It's done by basically a recording of some parts of a performance by, and I can't remember the orchestra. Apologies, but the problem I've got with it is I wanted to see it from a tech demo point of view. I knew the music wouldn't be my sort of thing, but I'm not going to knock it for not being my type of music. But I wanted to see it from a tech demo style, and it's basically a lot of it is the scenery is made up of like a point cloud, so you've got small dots making up the environment. There's bits of it appear to be photogrammetry a little bit, and I'm getting tongue tied here because it's gonna annoy me. I wasn't impressed. This feels like something that could have been out in the early Rift days, and I'm sure there must be sort of other stuff like it. There's, if you want some arty looking stuff, there was something called Firebird, and I can't remember the other one on Steam. It's just not. I don't know. It just doesn't. Graphically, it wasn't that impressive. You can see on the points where it's not using a point cloud, but where they've used photogrammetry, there's like a shader over the top, so you can't see all of an object at once. You sort of get glimpses of bits of scenery, and you can tell when you can see it, the photogrammetry is really bad.
Yeah.
And so it's hidden using this shader, fading most of the object out at what as you're looking at it, and it's. Artful said looks right hodgepodge. Yes.
Do you remember that Joshua Bell experience thing on PSVR that they brought out? That was really good, wasn't it? Because it was like volumetric kind of thing.
This is how you do it. The people, the actors, the performer, I presume Joshua Bell, and the people around in there were sort of 3D video, but you were at a bit of a distance, weren't you? You couldn't walk all the way around them and everything.
No.
But then the environment you was in was, I think it was it was either very good photogrammetry or it had been basically reconstructed to look real. So there was the environment itself was a real sort of 3D environment, and then you had these 3D video of the people sort of placed into it, and that looks great.
Yeah, it did.
That were years ago on original PSVR.
If I remember correctly, that one was done. Do you remember Google did those special volumetric light field cameras where they were on like a rotating like sphere basically, and they will capture the scene. And I think that's how they captured the scene. But yeah, I think you might be right with the performance themselves. I think they were recorded independently. With in like 3D really, but it was like really, really good 3D. They're going for a completely different thing on this as well. It seems
like this. When you're looking at the woman, it seems to be some sort of video to start with, rather than a point cloud or anything like that. But then you move around her, and she's almost flat. And it reminded me of that bit of iRobot, where he goes to investigate the death of the old guy. And there's like a hologram, and he moves around the hologram, and the hologram's flat.
Yeah.
It really reminded me of that. So yeah, they've tried to do. I can see what they've gone for, and I don't think it's worked. There's a couple of 360 videos, and like you see on the screen there, it says "look inside," and I think there's at least 2 of them. One of them worked, and you got like, well, this looks like old style, sort of not very good sort of 360 video. It's just not great. It's not bad, but it's not great either. The other one, I stuck my head inside to have a look around at the video, and it just didn't even work. I was just inside a small globe. My head was inside a small sphere. It didn't transition to the 360 video. I tried that a couple of times, and it just wouldn't work. But yeah, it feels like something what should have been out 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's an experiment back then, not now, I'm afraid. Yeah.
But it's just worth that to hear your French accent, Rog. After all
yeah.
Oh dear.
La Pasión.
But anyway, that's that. It's not expensive. I think it's £4 or £5. If that sort of music's your sort of thing, maybe you'll get more out of it. But there's better stuff about. Yeah. After that, we have the House of Da Vinci, or how do you pronounce Da Vinci? Da Vinci. So this came out on PC a while back, didn't it? And we were given the PSVR 2 version, and also very kindly we were given the PC version as well, because we'd not seen the PC version before. I hadn't anyway. We'd never got around to it. And yeah, it is I suppose they get described as escape room games, don't they? It's a puzzle game. It's like a bit like the Room VR is the closest thing to it. And I've actually really been enjoying this. I've actually not finished it. I'm still on chapter 5 because I got to chapter 5 and then promptly got stuck, and I refused to use the hint system.
I don't even know where the hint system is on this. I've not been paying much attention. It's a button, is it?
It's a button above the inventory. I keep pressing it.
Yeah, it's like Gary was saying, you can occasionally you'll accidentally press it. Fortunately, if you do, all it will do that press of that button. You have to do something else. I think you have to hold it down. Maybe, I don't know. But if you accidentally press that button, it'll tell you where you need to be to do the next puzzle. So it won't tell you anything about the puzzle. It'll just say you need to be over there.
Okay, yeah.
And sometimes you'll be in a room and there's only 3 places to teleport to anyway. So it's like, well, 1 in 3 chance. So it's, I apologise if I keep comparing it to the Room VR, but it's the closest thing I can compare it to. And it solves puzzles, and it's set in 1506, I think it said. And you're supposed to be like the apprentice of Leonardo. He's left something hidden, and you've got to go and find it. There's not much more of a story than that, really. And I really like it. It's one of those games. If you like this sort of game, you'll all probably already know. If you like the Room VR, you are going to like this. There's lots of little intricate details, mechanism, a thing whirring around, moving about right in front of it. It just looks great in VR. And looking great, this is a very nice looking game. The character model from the guy outside isn't so brilliant.
No.
But the rooms and the locations you're in look, nice. They just look fantastic in the headset. I'd say they look better in the headset than it does on the screen at the minute.
It does. The lighting and everything. Yeah, it's really good.
I say the lighting and the shadows when you get into the first puzzle room. I thought that were great in there.
Yeah, it looks really nice. It does look really nice on PSVR 2 and PC. I did start playing this on PSVR 2 originally because that's what that's the reason we're really given access to it in the first place. Performance-wise, PSVR 2 does struggle a bit. You can see it's not native frame rate. The thing with it is it gets away with it, mainly because this is not a free locomotion game. This is very much like the Room VR. You teleport around. And I know that's probably something that some people do not like.
Which I told you, didn't I, that I struggled with, because that was probably the biggest puzzle for me to try and work out at the beginning. Because I was like, well, where's smooth locomotion? I can't find. Is it in the options? And I spent 5 minutes thinking, and I thought, perhaps it's just teleport only.
It's just like the Room. It's teleport only.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, with this sort of game, given the sort of game it is, I've not got an issue with it because you're teleporting in front of a puzzle and you're there to solve that puzzle, or the other puzzle across the room. In which case you can instantly go to the other puzzle across the room. And like the Room VR, this will have you solving bits of a puzzle here, going to somewhere else, solving a bit of a puzzle there to get an item you needed for the place you'd just been at. So being able to teleport around is just useful. It is kind of a shame you can't walk around, but given the nature of some of the puzzles and sometimes how you can get stuck, if you had full free locomotion and you didn't know where you were supposed to be, it could be a problem. There's at least one puzzle that it would entirely negate because something ends up turning round and you open a door on the back of the puzzle that you couldn't get access to. Yeah. Before, where if you'd had free locomotion, you could have just walked around the other side and opened.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
I did move around a little bit. On the video now, you see the man's face one.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that, not spoiler alert, you need to do something to his head, and I thought, well, this has got to go there surely. And I sort of moved around to see. I thought, oh right, yeah. And then it took me a bit longer to realise I had to do something with that first before I could do whatever. So. But yeah, I really like the puzzles on it. But I've only played up to, I think I got through this part, right, Roger, and then I've got to level 3, and then it was like a massive room, and I thought, oh, I can't concentrate to do any more than that. But if I'd have played this first compared to Ghost Town, I would have probably loved it even more. I do enjoy it. I do like, you say, like the intricate puzzles. They're very Leonardo da Vinci styled, aren't they? Right, from his drawings and things like that. But yeah, Ghost Town definitely got more of a story to it, and. With this, it's just puzzles. Boom, solve the puzzle, get on to doing the next one. But I really like the puzzles so far.
Yeah, it's that sort of, whether you're going to like this sort of game or not. And seeing all these things move around and animate really well in front of you in VR in 3D, there's just something nice about it.
It's like, that's the big thing, because it's almost like these clockwork mechanisms that are constantly going off in the background. You complete a puzzle and it's satisfying just to see the effect of you completing it. That in itself is good.
It's really nice. The one thing I will say, and there is a solution to it, I didn't realise I've dealt with on PSVR 2, because of the size of the controllers, the amount of times I was sort of knocking the controllers together, because sometimes some items you can hold in one hand and you can sort of manipulate with your finger in your other hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes because
that's a little tricky. I found them a little bit tricky for me doing the old finger movement. Right, Victoria, if you're listening, say nothing. But it tends to get, I had either move it too far or my finger would glitch when I was trying to do it. So some of the little intricate things were a bit of a struggle for me.
Yeah, they can be sensitive on some of the stuff. You have to be really sort of slow sometimes. For
me, I like just going back to the teleport thing. So I don't really mind this being teleport at all. It's definitely not room scale either. That's the thing. So no. I played this on PC, and I was standing using my Quest 3, so I was sort of turning on the spot. And what it does is, it's got this it will orientate you to the puzzle in a forward facing way. So basically, if I was turning on the spot and then I'd teleport to a different area, I'd be looking at it in the right way, but when I teleported there, it sort of twisted me round, so I was 180 degrees away from it, because I'd moved from that forward-facing thing. So, I mean, if you play seated or you just stand on the spot and always look forward, you'll be okay with this. But if you turn, it doesn't like you doing that kind of stuff. That's the one thing I'll say.
When you teleport, you can do that old thing of when you aim, you can move your analog stick around and choose a direction.
Yeah, it does move. Yeah. I was catching that by accident. I was facing the wrong way.
I found trying to alter that made things worse. As long as I was sort of generally facing forward and I not turn my head to my body, because if you turn your head to look over, left or right, then teleport, you'll be facing the right way, but your head will be rotate. Yeah, your head will be turning the wrong direction, so you turn your head to face forward, and then I sort of acclimatized to it.
I did as well. Yeah, it's just something to mention. It was a bit jarring initially, but other games do that as well. It's not with just this game.
Just with I was just going to say with the intricate hand thing, because I went off track. It plays better on PC in the fact those controllers are so small, things don't get in the way. Because when I was using the PSVR 2, when your hand gets close to a small object, your finger automatically extends your virtual finger. And apparently, and I'd not realised this, in real life, I apparently also extend my real finger.
Yeah, I did that too.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd not realised. The only the only reason I realised I was doing it was because my finger was then colliding with the controllers, and I couldn't get close enough to the object because the PSVR2 controllers were in the way. If you go into the menu, you can set an offset. It's got X, Y, and Z offsets for your controllers.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, and PC as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could do that on PSVR2 if you needed to. On PC, I don't think you need to because, say, the touch controllers are that small. I did end up moving over and starting again to play it on the PC, just because it just felt better with the touch controllers for me, and the resolution as well on PC on the latest version of I don't know whether it's that latest version of Virtual Desktop where it's got the new what is it? It's got 2-pass encoding.
I need to try that still. Yeah, I've not still.
I thought it looked really good as well.
I was playing it on Ultra with those new options. And honestly, I was looking around thinking, this looks incredible. You know, it just did not to me feel like it didn't have that feeling of a wireless game. Like, you know, we were talking on Discord, Gary, weren't we, about about how games can sometimes not have MPEG encoding, but it's got a feel.
Yes,
it's got a feel. There's something there that
different,
it's wireless, and it didn't. And it made this game look absolutely. It just looked amazing. I thought it was really good.
I mean, I could run this as well at 90 frames, not reprojected, just 90 frames on medium settings in Virtual Desktop with I tried the 2-pass encoding, like Rod says, and it was working fine for me. The only thing I struggled with a little bit, which was yesterday, it was kind of putting me too close to the puzzles, but I was sat down. So today I stood up and recentered myself, and it seemed to put me in the right places then. I had to keep moving back on my seat all the time, but it looked really nice, ran really nice. I mean, it's not very often I can run games at 90 at all on my PC, so...
Yeah, it's a bit weird that, because sometimes you can teleport about and you teleport between places, and it does feel like you might be slightly off occasionally. I don't know. So I do find myself recentering every now and again. The only other negative thing really would be sometimes your finger will get stuck in an object. I don't know if you had that happen.
I had my hand get stuck somewhere.
All right. Sometimes I manipulate something, point it to my finger, I move my hand back, and my hand was literally caught in the object, and so I had to sort of like wave my controller about, and then the hand had snapped back.
Yeah, I had to recenter. I had it stick once, and then I just recentered, and it brought my hand back out of the object. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a minor thing, but it did happen occasionally.
With the puzzles as well. I've just finished chapter 3 I mentioned last night. I went through chapter 3 last night. That took me 50 minutes to get through that one chapter. So
that's why I didn't bother this morning.
You finished chapter 3 quicker than me. Then I was an hour and something on.
Oh, were you? Oh, right. Yeah. Well.
That globe, that flipping globe. I never want to see it again.
That is it. Yeah, okay. We won't go into that, but we can talk about it afterwards. But yeah, that was a bit of a nightmare. That was but the thing with me on that as well. So one of the things I've already mentioned, I did occasionally, and honestly, I don't like using hints and stuff like that in games like this, but I did hit it like accidentally every now and again because it's right next to the inventory, and I've just not played it long enough to get that muscle memory, I guess. But like you say, Rog, all it really tells you, the ones that I've seen, all it really tells you is you need to be at this object to solve the next puzzle and progress. So, so I did do that. But there's times as well where I'm really proud of myself. I've done I've worked this out. I know what I've got to do. Other times though in this game, there's things where I don't know how I've done it. I've just sort of manipulated things to the point where it works. Yeah. And there's definite puzzles in this where you can do that. You can just manipulate things to a point where it will sort of, you just randomly make movements, and eventually you'll solve the puzzle that way. You're not really working it out, you're just doing it that way. It's not in every puzzle by any means, and those puzzles are probably few and far between, but that they are in there as well. And maybe I'm a little bit thankful for that, because I was struggling with those. I got to the point where I did just try sort of anything and got through it. You can't feel proud of doing that. It's not like you've solved the puzzle. That's the thing.
This is it. It's like, I know some people say, "Oh, you can get through it in like 2 hours or something." I'm thinking you must have been using either a walkthrough or the hint system if you've gone through this game in 2 hours. If you've never played it before, if you've never played the flat version, because this is a port of the flat game. It's not. I think the Room VR was a brand new game for VR, where this is a port. There's three of these games on flat. This is the first one. So if you played it before, then it's the same game.
It's really good though.
They've done quite a few, right? They've done quite a few games in flat, so hopefully they might try and convert them to VR as well.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna say I got stuck on chapter 5. Like, was it day before yesterday? And I put it on earlier on today, and I loaded it up, and like within 10 seconds, it was like, oh no, and it was just there in front of me, and I realised what I'd missed. It's one of those games. Sometimes stepping away and leaving it is a good idea, and come back to it later, because I just will not use a hint system. So I just happened to get stuck on a puzzle on chapter 5, though I haven't finished it because I got stuck, and I'm not going to cheat.
It took me 11 minutes to do chapter 1, and there's only one puzzle on it.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I mean, embarrassingly, the very first tutorial puzzle.
Yeah,
I got
the one with the animals on.
Yes, because my brain read it wrong. What it wanted me to do.
I did exactly the same thing.
It shows you those 3 panels. You know, 1, 2, and 3. If it only shown you one of them, it'd have been obvious. But because there was 3 and they were labelled 1, 2, and 3 in Roman numerals, I was trying to do something off that panel, something off that panel, something off that panel. I don't know what my brain was doing, but it got it entirely wrong. It wasn't
until I did it by accident. Yeah, I did the same thing. I pressed 1 and pressed it. I thought, oh, wait a minute. I get it now.
Once I ignored the first second 2 panels and just looked at the first one, it was like, oh, you've got to be kidding. How could I have not?
I did exactly the same thing. I thought Roger crease if you were watching me do this right now.
But yes,
but we both did the same thing, so that's kind of like satisfying to know.
Yeah, but yes, thank you to the developers. I think it was Beano sent us the codes for the PSVR 2.1 and the PC version, and I recommend it on either. Say the PC version is the better one, I think. But if you like those puzzle room type games, go for it. I'm enjoying it, really am. Okay, next up is the Descent VR, Gary.
Yeah, so neither of you played this one, is that?
No,
it's installed, ready to go.
Okay,
I was going to go into it for an hour, and I went into Da Vinci instead.
Okay, so this is like a indie horror game. You go into these mines and you're exploring things, and it's sort of it's horror based, and it sort of focuses really in terms of horror on jump scares, and there's sort of atmospheric sound effects and stuff like that. But we've seen these types of games quite a bit in VR. You know, I've mentioned before, I think VR is really well suited to horror games, and I didn't have too much of an expectation with this, only because you hear indie horror game, and we've seen this before. I'm in two minds about this, and I'll explain. I think this has got a lot of potential, and it is in early access, so it's not perfect at this moment in time, and I'm quite intrigued by the story where it's going as well. But the problem that I'm having is really some janky physics behaviour in this, and we all know, if you've played VR for any length of time, you know what I mean when I say that, and it's that kind of jank where you're interacting, manipulating objects which require and everything has physics, all these things. So I'm going through this, and I don't know, I might fast forward the video just to illustrate a point actually, but you get to this point in this first section, you go through this tutorial, and the tutorial's nice, like the setting's nice, everything looks pretty decent as well, performance is fine, but then you have to get this crowbar and this one puzzle, and it's explaining all this stuff. You're still working through the tutorial really, but this is the first proper area. Let me just fast forward and see if I can find it. And what you have to do, you have to position this crowbar and open this container. Right now, the crowbar is a physics item. There's this outline of where you need to put this crowbar in order to open this other container door. So you think, okay, I've got to position it in this, where it's showing this outline, this silhouette of this crowbar, and then maneuver it to open it. I was stuck on this for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to show. So look, this is the part of the video now anyway, and this is embarrassing. I'm not happy showing this, but I've got to highlight that this is a problem. I'm stuck here, and I cannot get this door open no matter what I did. And the trick is, you need to position the crowbar, and then it will automatically generate an animation which will open this door. So you don't need to lever it at all.
Oh, yeah, well, no one's going to think of that. Like you can say on there, you can see the silhouette of it. To put it in, you've got to put it... I'd have gone to that and put it in that same angle. And then try to move it myself.
Even if you align it perfectly with that silhouette, you can probably see me doing it here, actually. This is the first time I tried it, by the way. So I've done it several times. Even when you align it perfectly with that silhouette, that's still not the right position. You have to align it slightly lower and just sort of lock in. And all you have to do... Because I watch videos. I went to PD's video. I went to other people's videos to explain how to do it. I just could not get in this container. And maybe I'm thick. And it's entirely possible that I'm just thick on this. But it took me, honestly, probably... I did it for 10 minutes and I quit the game. And then I went back in. I still couldn't do it. I was getting really frustrated. I'm thinking, why can everybody get in this container but me? Anyway, you lock it into the right position, which is just below that silhouette. And as soon as you lock in, just hold it there. It will generate the animation, then you get in. So this is just one example of something which is frustrating in terms of, like, you think it's like a physics thing, but it's not really a physics thing. And that is just a frustrating thing. So the main downside of this game, first of all, is the frustration that I got from it. Everything else around it, I think, is actually got a lot of potential and a lot of promise. Like I mentioned, I think the story, you pick up these snippets of story as you're going around, and you go into this mine and there are jump scares. It's like supernatural kind of jump scares. It's not the scariest game in the world or anything like that, but my daughter said to me today, actually, she said, were you playing a horror game in VR the other day? Because I was walking in the living room and I heard you go, oh, like this. So I said, yeah, I was, yeah. So obviously it did get me at one point. But yeah, there's some decent enough puzzles. You travel around, you've got these atmospheric sound effects, so at certain parts you've got this like breathing sound effects, and you think, okay, maybe I've got to go towards this breathing sound. You go there and maybe it'll activate something, maybe it won't, maybe you'll get a jump scare, maybe you won't. And it reminds me in some ways of another game which I've mentioned, another indie horror game way back, A Chair in a Room. It's got some of those kind of similar interactions and things like that with it, I suppose. Look at me, I'm still on this crowbar. This is I'm going to have to fast forward.
There's a game that we'll be talking about later where I did this very sort of, there's something similar happened to me where I could not get out of the starting room because of the way the interaction worked, but we'll get to that. You're not the only one who's had problems, I tell you.
But yeah, eventually I did manage to do it anyway. But yeah, and this is the next section after that. So I've only played this for an hour so far. I don't know. I think I'm going to, if I continue with it, I'm going to have to wait till it's got a little bit more finesse to it. I think the jank and stuff like that is just putting me off too much, although I will acknowledge I do think it's got some potential to it as well. So yeah, it's worth
single dev, right?
I believe so.
Dev?
I believe so.
It's a solo developer, yeah.
He's got the lighting looks good, and
I
watched some of PD's video as well, and even I jumped and squealed. My daughter says, "What are you doing?" So I'm just being scared at a video that
in all honesty, I mean, I've only seen videos of it. I've seen a hell of a lot worse looking games.
Oh yeah,
from bigger teams.
It doesn't look bad. This is the other thing. So this is another example of the jank. Going up a ladder like this, you have to make sure that your hand is absolutely in the right position before you press grip. Because there were so many times as well where you think you're gripping, and I've climbed so many ladders in VR at this point. I know how to climb a ladder in VR, but there were so many times where I dropped because I hadn't put my hand in exactly the right place before I pressed grip. It's these small things which I'm finding frustrating, and maybe I've focused on that too much in this review when I'm talking about it, but there's a lot of stuff that is going on here which I do really like as well. You've got this camera that you put up and it can reveal certain things as well. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's just not quite there in terms of early access for me to enjoy it yet, but maybe it is for other people. So yeah.
I mean, I think, okay, maybe janky bits aside, if I'd done this by myself, I'd be quite happy, I think.
yeah, exactly.
I will give it a go.
Yeah,
PD says it's by the same devs that did the Tomb Explorer one. Is that the one with the amazing voices that sound like this? Is it that one with the AI voices?
Oh, you played Tomb Explorer. You two played Tomb Explorer, I think, didn't you?
I played it till I got sick of listening to the voices.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't voices in my head before anyone says anything. It was the voices in the game that are like, I think, AI or they're really bad.
And also, just to finish off, I will say, this is me saying that I'm having janky issues with this. I'm not saying everybody will, and I've watched other videos and other people don't seem to have a problem with some of this stuff. So maybe part of it is on me as well. I've just got to point out, like, this is my experience that I had. So others might have the same, you might
maybe
not.
You just need to get good.
Exactly,
get
yeah,
good.
I've got to get good.
Get good. So anyway, next up is beer number 2 for me. And in the meantime, it will be Gary with a KIWI K4 Boost head strap.
Oh, yeah, okay. So this is a bit of
a little bonus too, so... Gary, take it away.
Yeah, this is a bit of a last-minute one, so I'm going to have to go on webcam, a rare webcam. Can you see me? Hello? Is the audio linked as well?
I can hear audio,
if anybody
but I can't
can tell me.
yet.
No,
oh, yeah,
it'll come up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so
not full screen, though.
No, because I didn't want you guys blocking me. I'm very vain.
Oh, I see what you've done. That would be round about your nether.
No, that'll be about.
Idea to do that.
There we go. Okay, yeah. So this is a KIWI K4 Boost head strap. Hope you can see that clearly enough. Yeah. So I got sent this, and the reason I accepted this, because you get, offered head straps now and again if you do podcasts and stuff like that. But this is not a Halo head strap, so I thought, sorry about that. So I thought I'd accept, because I'm not a fan of Halo head straps anymore. And I've mentioned this on the podcast probably a few times, but I don't find them as stable, and I just don't like the way they feel anymore. I used to really enjoy them, and apart from the PSVR 2, I don't really use them anymore for that. But this one is by KIWI. It's a battery head strap. It's similar to the official Elite battery head strap by Quest. So it's.
Do you know what, Gary? I'm going to have to interrupt you and just tell you something. Yeah,
go on.
KIWI have done a proper one here, because this is one of the head straps I covered previously.
You're joking?
No.
I was about to say, because that looks different to mine. So what version have I got? Have I got the 3 then?
So this is the K4. This is the K4 Boost.
And that is exactly the same one I've currently got attached to my Quest, and I've still got the box. It's sat over on the shelf over there, and it is the K4 Boost.
Hang on.
I've got the 3 then, because your top strap is padded and mine isn't.
Yeah. I was going to say, so this is padded, the back strap's padded. So you've already reviewed this on this podcast.
And that is the one I'm using.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's a testament to it then if you're using it, because I will say that if this was available when the Elite battery strap, when I bought the Elite battery strap, this is the one I would have got, to be honest. I think this is probably better than the Elite battery strap, and I didn't expect to say that. I've used the Elite battery strap since I've had my Quest 3.
I'm going to say that top strap will probably make a massive difference, right, with it being padded.
Yeah, well, the other thing, it does. I mean, it helps with comfort and stuff like that, I suppose. I won't say I've noticed that massively, but the other thing with this is it's like double the capacity of the Elite battery strap. So that's the other thing about this, which makes it a big deal. And the fact it's not Halo and it basically works the same as the Elite battery strap is just a big deal for me. So it is last minute. I've not had it long, but from having used it yesterday and this morning, I think they've done a great job on this one. What was I going to say?
The only thing I'd say about it is it charges quite quickly compared to because I had one of the very original ones that KIWI did. I picked up one of them ages ago. First one I bought, I think, for Quest 3. And the battery on that, I'd say, lasts longer than this one does. But this one charges at least twice as fast as the old one.
Yeah, okay. So
it's a trade-off between charging speed and how long it holds the charge.
So this one has something like 5,300 milliamp hours, and I think the official Quest Elite battery strap, that has 2,000 something, 2,600, I think.
What?
So, it was lower than the Quest 2 one, I believe. And I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. The only thing that puts me off these third-party head straps compared to the Elite battery strap is the fact that you don't get that feedback within the interface on the Quest. That is nice to have, because it will sort of show you've got this much left on your headset and this much left on your battery strap. This doesn't do that. You have this connected, it's always charging your headset. So That's the only downside, but that seems to be just something inherent with all these third-party head straps anyway. So
yeah, I was nodding along then while you were saying that, Gary, and I'm just thought, why am I nodding? You can't even see me. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I have noticed something there on your video, that you do have what appears to be Beano annuals on that shelf.
Yep.
Now, I'm a big Beryl the Peril fan, if you remember Beryl the Peril. And I do actually collect Beryl the Peril annuals. So that's a little nerd thing for everybody listening who are probably shaking their heads now.
Wow.
Well, I can see the Beano. I can't quite see the other ones next to it. That's what I've been looking at while you've been talking about the head strap, by the way.
Oh, well, I'm glad I was talking fascinating stuff to keep you entertained. So I've got Dennis the Menace and then Bash Street Kids. Bash Street Kids are my favourite. They were always my favourite.
I was never into that sort of stuff when I was a kid. I was never into the Beano. And
I used to have boxes and boxes of Beano magazines, the ones like paper when we were kids, and I binned them all. Imagine how much money they're all worth now, do you know what I mean? And used to bin them all the time. Probably but Beryl the Peril's my jam. So anyway, carry on.
Well, I'm going off webcam now anyway. I'll be back in a bit because I've got to talk about Pimax Crystal Light as well. So bye. Okay.
So well done, KIWI. You've had two lots of that battery strap on from us. So next up we have this. I came across this randomly. This is Rock and Roller Coaster. If Gary wants to throw the video up for that
just
one.
trying to find that one now. There we go. Okay, yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Rock and Roller Coaster. This is a free experience for PC, and I would recommend high-end PC, probably higher end than mine. My 4070 Ti did struggle a bit. The footage I'm showing is from the flat version. It's all the same thing. It looks the same in VR as it does on flat. When you load it up, flat version up, you can then click the option on the left hand side, change it from monitor to VR when you get into it. And it's a free roller coaster based on a real life one in France, apparently. I don't know whether it's one that's still about or one that's no longer wherever this roller coaster was installed, and it's something to do with Aerosmith.
I noticed when it first loaded up then it said the name of the roller coaster, Avec Aerosmith, and Avic's with, right? I think in French. I don't know, you know more than me, Rog, with you being Parisian.
Yeah, right. So it's a free roller coaster experience. If you've got, I would probably say 5080, 5090, give it a go. It's free. It's by 917 Rides, and that's on Itch.io or Itch.io, however you want to pronounce it. And it's a free roller coaster. There's also, you can walk around outside the outside of it as well, and the sort of the queuing system where you walk through. There's like a studio thing you can walk in, and you can see them sort of in the recording studio and stuff. And you walk over to the roller coaster, pick a seat, and off you go. It is intensive graphically in VR. It runs fine on desktop, but in VR it does struggle. I had to turn things down in VR. It does recommend read the documentation, because there are a few nice little hints in there, like I and K for turning the brightness up and down. V turns on no clip, so you can just fly straight through stuff. Things like that.
Looks nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's really nice. But yeah, there's nothing else to say. It's not exactly the best roller coaster, in all honesty, simply because it's in dark. A lot of it is in darkness. Yeah. This is more about probably preserving an old roller coaster that I'm assuming probably isn't available anymore. I don't know. But yeah, very well done, very well made. I say it was just a random thing that came up on YouTube. I noticed it said UEVR, and I was watching this guy demo it. I'm thinking, ooh, UEVR. Maybe I can run it in, with UEVR.
UEVR, yeah.
UEVR, yeah, it is UEVR. I'm getting the Unreal Engine and UEVR is totally mixed up now. Yeah, so I noticed it was Unreal Engine, and I thought, maybe it'll run in UEVR. And I got to the end of this 15-minute video, and the guy goes, oh yeah, and it's got a VR mode as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, great. Okay, so
it kind of reminds me. Have you guys seen the one that's based off of Alton Towers in the UK? There's one on Steam that I did try a bit back. That is that VR? And I think that might be flat screen. I think that may be Unreal Engine. I'm not entirely sure, but I got it for my daughter because she's a big Alton Towers fan. And that's free. You can walk around the entire park and get on the rides. I find getting on the rides to be a little bit cumbersome and difficult sometimes. But there's that one. But it's not called Alton Towers. It's called something else, obviously. But yeah, there's a free version of that. People might want to check that out as well. But yeah, I do like the lighting effects on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does recommend to turn the fog effects off for VR, because apparently that is really intensive. The fog and the light, the light going through the fog and whatever. But yeah, I would say go for this one if you've got a real sort of high end VR rig.
It might be okay for newbies somewhat. I wouldn't recommend roller coaster rides to any newbies in VR, like I did.
I wouldn't normally, but this is that dark.
Because it's quite dark. I think they might be okay with it. Yeah.
It's
it's nice.
It's very demanding, like you say, Rog. That's the thing.
Did you try it, Gary, on yours?
I did. Yeah, briefly. Yeah, I went through one ride on it. I struggled to find how to get into the ride. I think you mentioned this as well. I was wandering around for a bit before I actually found how to get on. But yeah, I mean, it's I've not done that many roller coaster things in VR, in all honesty, so I've not got much to compare it to. But I think one of the videos I watched on this, they were saying that this is based on the Euro Disney. Yeah. So like all the surroundings and everything, it's all accurately, rendered as if you're going on that ride at Euro Disney. So yeah, I mean, it's the graphics are great. It looks good. It, like you say, it's very dark, and you do have to adjust settings and stuff to get it looking good and running great. So
But yeah, it's a freebie on itch.io. Yeah, so yeah, just look for Rock and Roller Coaster by 917 Rides, and you'll probably find it. Moving on, talking about dark things, Alien Rogue Incursion. Well, we finally got round to having a look at it, or sort of. I think you did more than me because I had technical issues.
So apologies for this video. This is a video I recorded, but I'm having problems with like my capture card at the minute. I recorded this on a separate PC, and capture card has got VSync issues. You can probably see it on the video. It's just not working correctly. I don't know why, but I think it's just old. But yeah, so of course this is an older title anyway. People have already heard about this, played it, heard reviews and stuff. So, but I thought, you bought it, didn't you, Raj? Full transparency. And I thought I'd jump in and give it a try. And I've played around an hour of it so far, and I actually quite like this game. Within reason, I think the graphics look better than I was expecting. When I saw videos and trailers on this, I was thinking this looks like a Quest game that has been just one of those questicles, where that Anthony used to say. It's like been changed to just upgraded to the PC version, but I don't feel like that at all. I think the graphics in this are actually really very good. Performance is an issue with this though. That's the other thing. It's not. It is a very demanding game, so you've got to adjust settings, and the shadows and stuff need turning down. I turned some shadows down to medium. I turned some other stuff down to medium as well, and I got it running at a pretty decent frame rate in the end. You mentioned an issue with the shadows, Rog, in a specific area, and I did notice those too in that first save area, if you want to mention that now.
Well, I had two issues. I think one is some shadows, and the other one, the video I showed you on Discord, Garrett, it's not a shadow problem. That's a Z buffer fighting problem. It's as if it's rendering polygons are fighting to see what order they're rendered in, and they're flickering like mad. In another area, when you're on the ship, when you're going around and you're getting your gun and whatever, before you get onto, before you walk out onto the planet.
Yeah.
There was some of the shadows in there were just getting rendered in entirely the wrong location. Yeah, shadows were literally detached from the things that were casting them, just being rendered like a couple of meters away. It was totally bad, and then the flicker in and out. It was absolutely awful. I have no idea why. It seems to be a me problem. I think that.
Well, in one specific area where you were talking about on that first save point, I did notice that as well, but I've not seen any of that anywhere else.
Any of the other stuff, yeah.
No, I've not seen.
That was definitely a Z buff fighting problem where things didn't know what order to render something in, as if stuff was overlapping.
Yeah,
and the polygons are flickering. But there were definite proper shadow rendering issues as well. And I know, like you said, Gary, it seems to be more heavily. The performance on it just seems to be bad compared to what you'd expect from this I don't know. It just, I turned stuff down as well, and it was just like, it wasn't great. I was just having so many issues. I did think of trying to just run it through Steam VR native rather than virtual desktop. I just never had that thought at the time, and I haven't gone back and tried it. I don't know if that's an issue. Maybe using native
Possibly.
Steam VR.
Maybe I think.
Possibly. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Well, I think MainFan mentioned he's on a 4090 when this came out, and he mentioned as well, like it was the performance. It's quite a demanding game, so I think there's no getting away from that. I'd be interested to see how this even runs or how it looks on a Quest. That's the thing as well. I mean, how they've got this running. I think it looks good, and the only thing, I mean. I think the gameplay is fine. You're sort of going through. It's different to what I was expecting, because I heard all these early reviews and a lot of people talking about it. Although not everyone, but they were saying, it feels very wave shooter-ish. How you going into an area, and I don't necessarily think that. I don't think it's like that at all. Really, I think that there's things that you need to find. It's like Alien Isolation in certain respects. There's things that you need to find, terminals that you need to access. You need to get access cards in order to progress. And then in the meantime, you might be attacked by some aliens or you might not. But it all feels like very much set pieces that you're going into whenever you get attacked. At least at the beginning. Like I say, I've not played a huge amount of the game anyway, so maybe that does change in the future. But it feels like set pieces where you've got 3 aliens that will come into a room at some point. You've got to kill those.
It just seems a bit bizarre. Like how you can have like Alien Isolation running as a mod, which runs amazingly well.
Yeah.
And then like they bring out somebody does a dedicated VR game, and it's like it's got issues even on high-end machines.
Yeah. I know.
Well, it's a good job that they're dedicating all the time into fixing these issues, and not bringing it out on flat screen. I've noticed today. So, you know,
what they're calling that?
Alien can walk.
Alien Rogue Incursion.
Enhanced.
Evolution.
That's the one. Yeah.
Evolution.
So even better than what the VR version is. That doesn't run right anyway. So yeah, great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Servius are a weird one because I've played quite a lot of their games. I've never been a massive fan, although I appreciated them at the time, I think. It's like Raw Data, one of the first ones they brought out. At that time, it was one of the better VR titles, but I'll go back in now and I think it's not all of that at all, really.
I mean, that was very wave shootery, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that was definitely that,
but this is the thing with Servius, though. Normally, you get a really nice-looking game and quite a performant game. But you just get a very shallow game.
Yeah.
Where with this seems to have more gameplay, but the performance has gone to hell.
Yeah, the performance is probably the worst.
It's flipped things over.
The other thing,
I'm always a little wary on these as well. Sorry, Gary. When they're bringing them out on multiple systems, so bringing it on Quest, on PC VR, on Steam, on PSVR 2, I'm always a little wary of what quality control's gone into it or what time constraints they've had actually getting these up to speed. You know what I mean? Because I know they set the Quest 1 back, didn't they, from original release, because they still had to work on it, and then by all accounts they've done some more optimizations, altering the contrasts, I think, and things, so it looks a bit more darker on the Quest. But yeah, one of those, it's just, I always wonder if they've had enough time to polish it off as much as what they wanted to.
I think the only other thing I'll say is, and this is true for a lot of games like this, the guns feel okay, but they're not. I've never really been satisfied with the way guns like this feel in VR, and that's a me thing because I'm not really a big fan of the way the guns feel in a lot of games that people really like, in like Contractors and stuff like that. There's just something, I don't know, it just doesn't feel that satisfying in this game. It's got a lot of options with gun angle as well. So you've got like a revolver, I think, on your side as well. And you can change the gun angle. There's a lot of options and stuff in there. But that's just a me thing because I think a lot of people do like these types of gun mechanics in there. I don't think it's bad. It's just, I don't know. I'm always somebody that likes more sci-fi laser-based type guns in VR for some reason. And yeah, that's just how I feel.
You know, with the pulse rifle on this, I didn't realise till I was playing it. I was just using it one-handed, and then it was just spraying bullets everywhere. And I was like, oh, I'm such a noob. Oh, wait a minute, I can hold it two-handed, so that steadies it. So that made it slightly better. And then I realised afterwards, by watching someone else's video, that you can actually pull the pulse rifle closer to your face, and you've got a sight you can aim down, and it shoots even more accurate.
Yeah, it does like a virtual gun stock option, doesn't it? It your shoulder.
And I was like, oh my God, no wonder I'm getting absolutely creamed by all these aliens.
Yeah, see, that's maybe my problem then, because I didn't know you could pull it closer. That's not in a tutorial or anything. But maybe that's that's on me. Yeah. That's on me. Maybe if you can do that and it makes it feel better to shoot as well. Maybe that's something to keep in mind.
It was because it was just being from aliens. You know what I mean? I can't remember seeing them using the eyesight to shoot. They were just off the hip, going crazy, weren't they? Well, that's what I wanted to do.
But yeah, to wrap up, I mean, I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as I was expecting. I think it's actually pretty good, but there's just, I don't know. It's a tough one because I've got to. Well, I'll play some more. I'll probably report back if I get a chance. But yeah, we'll see.
I did notice very quickly as well when I first loaded the game up. I don't know if it's virtual desktop or what. It was like super low res, and I couldn't even like got the map where you hold it in your hand and you're using your finger to move about stuff. I couldn't read any of that. So it was on like really low city settings on my PC, and I put it up to high, and I could see everything. I was like, "Oh, brilliant!" So why default to something I can't even see? It was like having my real eyesight in VR, and I couldn't see anything. So if you do get that issue when you do load the game up, just bump up the settings and just see how it runs, because then I could read the text and I could see all the writing and everything proper then, and it was just running fine. So I don't know why it defaulted to the lowest ridiculous settings that you can't even see the game anyway. But go enjoy Alien, everyone.
It's like, it's maybe if I upgrade my graphics card, I don't know. At some point, I might try again. But
it was very atmospheric, and I mean, I've only played like 20 minutes of it, and I think there's a bit where you put a shutter down, and then you can hear the alien coming in, and that made me squeal. I think I put a short out when I crap myself. That was quite good. It made me really feel like I was in the environment, in the alien world, and made me realise that I'd be one of the first to get killed instantly. So, yeah.
I mean, I think next time I try Alien is once they sort of publicly release that 6-stuff mod for Alien Isolation. I'll have a look at that.
I'm looking forward to that.
Honestly, Alien Isolation is pretty much the only thing that's ever made me just sort of like calmly remove my headset, shall I say, and go and have a nice cup of tea. It's like,
but I understand what Gary means by this having like the Alien Isolation vibes in the corridors and things. It's very much similar to that as well.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm sure everybody's played it if they want to by now. But there you go. That's Alien.
We didn't, but because I noticed it on sale on Quest, and I said, "Does anybody want to get it? It's on sale on Quest," and we all said no. And then Rog said, "Well, if it came out on PC for that price, maybe I'd pick it up." And literally, like a day later, it was on sale on Steam. So Rog took one Steam. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to get access, but it's just one of those things. If we'd have got access, we'd have already played it. But there you go.
Anyway, just going back to the battery thing. I'll say Devil Blader or Devil Bladder, I don't know. Apologies there.
Devil Bladder.
Devil's Bladder. Went down the route of using a 3D printed power bank for an anchor battery to attach to your belt. It's like, I don't think I use VR enough for long enough sessions to do that, but I can definitely see the appeal of maybe having a off the headset sort of heavy duty battery if you're going to go for like multi-hour VR chat sessions or something. But
very Apple.
Very Apple, But I'll make do with what I've got, I think. And Hussein X in chat as well. There's a name. There's somebody who goes back to the Anthony's VR 365 days. Hussein's been about forever. Yeah. Welcome on in. Okay, so. I'm German. I didn't expect it could be pronounced like that. I did go for Blade. My apologies. Devil Blader. There we go. So, Gary, are you onto your webcam again?
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, I have got Devil's Bladder because I have noticed I'm going to the toilet way more just recently. Probably because of my age more than anything. So, I do have the Devil's Bladder.
I was just flicking...
The geriatric podcast. Yeah.
I was just flicking through this Beano annual now, Lee. You got me. Was Beryl the Peril in the Beano, or was she in the Dandy?
I'm not sure if she was in the Beano or not. Of course, I remember as a kid, I got an annual something like 1973 or something. My mum got, and I swear to God, next time I come up to see you, I should bring it up because you'll laugh now. Even I go through it now and again, and I'm crying with laughter. She's jumping through the paper at her dad, and because her dad's always, it is of its time. So her dad's at the end of it is always like got over her knee and is smacking away his slipper and stuff like that. So I don't think they'd be able to get away with that nowadays. But
that's how it was back in
Beano. What was the other one? There was Beano, and I don't think she was in the Dandy. I think it was.
There's
the Beano, because in one of the annuals as well, they incorporate, and this is probably riveting for everybody listening in a minute. They incorporate a new special a guest type thing, and it's Minnie the Minx. So they introduced her in it as well. So
oh, right.
When she came out as well. She was like the Dennis the Menace female
I've heard
alternative.
Minnie the Minx. But,
All right, come on then, let's get back on.
Me.
Right.
Grief.
Okay.
More Beano talk next time, folks. And
Pimax Crystal Light. Anyway, so very similar to the Crystal. So I got sent this by Pimax. Hopefully I'll be getting the Pimax Crystal Super at some point as well in order to review. It's just a loan unit. I won't be able to keep it or anything, but I'll have it for a few weeks in order to give a few impressions. But they wanted this is like a reference headset in order to compare it to the Super. So I've used the original Crystal. So have you guys as well, actually. You've came down and tried the original Crystal as well.
Yeah, we're coming when you get the Super.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Did you know? I don't know if you knew that or not. But
I assumed.
Yeah, the better be cake this time.
Yeah, of course. I'll get the
I can read the bean. I'll bring some Bear of the Perils up for you, like I said.
I can't frame this. I'm not used to having a webcam on this podcast at all. You can tell. Look at this. This is a disaster. But so the Pimax Crystal Light is basically a cut down version of the original Crystal. It's not got the XR2 chip. It's not got the battery pack on the back or anything like that. It also doesn't have the eye tracking. It's a cut down, cheaper version, and it is much, much lighter than the original Crystal as well. But it's still got the big form factor. So this is one of the things which I really don't like about Pimax headsets, and hopefully the Super, although it's very heavy, it does have a slightly smaller form factor, so that's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to giving that a try. I was expecting this to be exactly the same visual experience as I was getting on the original Crystal. Okay, now it's basically the same as the Crystal from that respect, apart from obviously the eye tracking, so you won't get dynamic foveated rendering or anything, but that's okay. I was expecting that. What I'm getting with this though is it is a lot lighter. It's more comfortable than the original Crystal. I'll give that. But I'm getting some distortion on the lenses with this headset. I'm not sure if this is a problem with my particular headset or if this is just general with the Crystal, how this is supposed to be. I don't know if you remember, but a few months and months ago, there was a Pimax event. I went down and tried this in London briefly, and I was experiencing a similar thing back at that event as well, but I put that down to because I was under the impression this is exactly the same visual sort of, the visual experience will be exactly the same as on the original Crystal. So I was putting that down, that slight distortion that I was noticing, down to not dialing in the IPD correctly or not getting, just taking time to have it at home and, get all the settings correct for my eyes. So I sort of brushed that off and thinking, well, it is basically a Crystal anyway, so of course the visual experience is going to be very similar. I've been trying this and I am getting distortion on the lenses. I can only put it down to defects in the lenses or something different that I'm not sure of. I've been on to Reddit and other people seem to have this as well, but not everybody does. Other people seem to have a perfect, flawless experience. So I don't know if there's an issue with some lenses and not an issue with others. Presumably I can contact them and they'll send me some replacement lenses out to try, because you can swap the lenses over in this as well. So maybe I could do that and that will resolve it. That's the main downside that I'm noticing at the moment. It's just not quite as visually comfortable as the original Crystal, and I've still got the original Crystal. I can directly compare the two. So there's something slightly off with that. Having said that, if it didn't have that issue, the other things are great with this, as in with the Crystal. You've got this mini LED display, so you've got these nice deep black levels, local dimming, and this high resolution of 2880 by 2880 per eye as well. So it's got all of those features for a price which is less than half of the original Crystal. So from that point of view, it's great. Audio wise, it's not got the DMAS as standard, so audio is not as good as the Crystal, nowhere near, but it's serviceable, it's fine. I've not really got too many complaints about it, but it's just not as bassy, it's not as deep as in the original Crystal as well. So yeah, this is a reference model for when hopefully I'll get the Super and I can give some direct comparisons with that, but that's pretty much it anyway. Pimax Crystal Super, okay. I mean, Pimax Crystal Light, sorry, it's okay, but I want to get those that lens distortion issue resolved, so I'll probably contact them and see what they can do about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's
off.
How do they keep? It always seems to be something, doesn't there, with Pimax headsets? It's like it's that brand where it's like I've never had any inkling to buy one. And I don't know if it'd ever change. There's always something. I mean,
how much money have they got? I mean, are they financed by Dubai or what? Because they seem to have endless supply of money to keep bringing out all these headsets. I don't know.
Well,
they seem to do like what Meta does with their software updates, with their firmware updates. They just keep trying to bring out new ones without fixing the problems with the old stuff.
Yeah, I think for me, Pimax, I was never a fan of Pimax until I got that crystal, and the more I used it, the more I liked it, and that changed my mind on them. So I've still got quite high hopes for the Super, to be honest, but I don't know. Yeah. This is the thing. I can't deal with a headset which has this distortion on the lenses, so I've got to try and either resolve that, find out what's wrong, what's going on with that, and hopefully the Super won't have that issue. But it's a shame because they can win people over. They won me over. I didn't like the 8KX that much. It was okay, but I had visual issues with that as well. And yeah, it's all... To me, it's a bit like I'll put on a Quest. I know I'll put on a Quest headset or a headset by Meta or a headset by like the Valve Index or any other number of manufacturers, and I know the visual experience is going to be pretty much what I expect. With a Pimax headset, it feels a little bit more hit and miss. I don't know whether I'm going to get a good visual experience and in spite of the specs on the spec sheet, or if there's going to be something in terms of like either focal distance, binocular overlap, or something else with the lenses in distortion stuff, which is going to put me off it. I'm not willing to give up on Pimax or anything like that because I think that the Crystal is a really, really good headset, but it's also very expensive as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was hoping this would be a decent middle ground, and maybe it will be if the lenses are faulty or something like that and I can resolve it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we will see. But, yeah, I can say once you get that other one, we will plod on down there and come and buggy for the afternoon. Right.
I want to see what Airlink looks like in that.
Yeah. So more sci-fi. Last thing we've got on the list really is Surviving Mars Pioneer.
What did I say? Airlink? I meant Aircar. Or just edit that bit in.
Oh, Aircar.
Why did they laugh at that? Because that looks amazing. Why did they not laugh at my joke?
I thought you were talking...
I just moved on as if I knew what you were talking about.
I thought you were talking... Because they're bringing out like a wireless dongle thing that's been forever in the works. Yeah. So I thought it was a reference to that.
Just like 2 minutes later, like my brain just went, you just said Aircar. I mean, Airlink said Aircar. Yeah. It's doing it now. My brain just all over.
Oh God. I mean, that time we once tried Aircar in your Crystal, Gary, that was a proper eye opener. That was that was a proper wow.
That's the thing. For me, that's the thing. It's so good. The Crystal is so good in certain titles. I can't even explain how much I love it in certain titles. And yeah, it's so disappointing in like this light. Problems.
Yeah. But anyway, yes, Surviving Mars Pioneer.
I'm definitely cutting that bit, by the way, on the audio podcast.
No.
Anyway, after Lee's just cut out all the bits if you're listening on the audio podcast, we have got Surviving Mars Pioneer. This is PC and Quest. I've played it on... I had a look at it... Well, we've only just got it, so it's literally... This is not a review by any stretch of the imagination. It's the first impressions, really. I did try it on PC and Quest. Gary, you tried it on PC, I think.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, this is based on it's based on a flat franchise, isn't it? And as far as I know, this is I've recorded my mouse pointer. I'm sorry, it's really going to annoy me now.
I just thought it was a dead pixel. I'm on a dead for a second.
I've recorded the mouse pointer on the video. Oh God, I hate that. It's based on a flat franchise, isn't it? I think, or a flat game, but it's apparently a built for VR version or a new game similar to that. I don't know. But basically, you get sent to Mars, and you've been told there's some weird transmitter towers, jamming towers, what have appeared and are causing problems, and you get sent there, and you basically stuck there on your own. You got to build a habitat. You end up getting missions. You can send rockets up and to fulfill contracts and stuff. And apparently later there is vehicles from what I've seen on a trailer, but I've not got that far. I've literally only just got it, so I've not played much of it. my first impressions, in all honesty, weren't great, and it's all down to the interface. I don't know what you thought, Gary, but this is one of the most un-VR interfaces I've seen in a long time. Everything is a laser pointer. It's a laser pointer to do this, it's a laser pointer to do that, it's a laser pointer to do the other. And it's like Flat to VR Studios are involved with this. They're one of the, I think there's 2 publishers. I think it's them and Paradox. I can't remember. But considering Flat to VR are involved with it, I was a bit surprised with how the VR implementation is. Did you struggle with it at all? Because I spent an hour playing it to start with, and I was fighting the interface all the way through. Did you struggle at all, Gary?
Yeah, I'm again slightly in 2 minds on this. I think that the interface it's weird compared to other VR games, like made for VR games, because you're right, it's a laser pointer, and it's like you will transport things from your inventory to something like a container in your base or stuff like that. Everything is contained in blocks, right? So you make, and to me, I feel like they've done this interface to just look like nice and clean, nice and tidy, but it is an odd interface because you make something and it's just this block. It's almost like an icon. It's just a 3-dimensional icon. Okay, so it's doing that kind of thing, that No Man's Sky kind of icons in the interface everywhere. And you point the laser at it, you press grip, and it will appear in your hand. You can't reach out and directly grip it or anything like that. So they've done like this 2D interface. Maybe it's done in this way to appear like it's futuristic, like a futuristic kind of HUD or something like that. I'm not sure, but to me it feels like they've just targeted this thing to make it look nice and clean, and it doesn't work in the way that you expect it to work in a VR game. That's what I'll say. And I think that's probably the main thing. I got used to it pretty quickly, though. I won't say that it was a major hurdle or anything like that after a while, but it's just weird. And that beginning section where you're in the ship before you get out the ship, and you've got it's sending you through this tutorial, and you have to like pick up your 3 tools that you've got. So you've got like an extractor, you've got a constructing tool, and then you've got a scanner.
Yeah. And you want to just pick them off the wall, don't you? You want to reach out and pick them up. Yeah. And you can't. You have to aim a laser pointer at it, hold the trigger in, move up to the option to move it to your inventory. It's like, what the hell?
It's weird. And that side of things. And you're going through this tutorial, and you'll pick one of these tools off, and then you'll have this dialogue, which is part of the tutorial that will explain to you what this tool does, and you have to wait to get through that dialogue before you can pick up the next tool. And of course, it's doing this tutorial thing. It's just a little bit finicky, a little bit frustrating. Maybe I won't dwell on that too much. I know you had a problem with that. I don't think it didn't ruin anything for me, though. I'll say that much.
Right. We were talking about earlier on in the podcast, we were saying about doing, I can't remember what the exact thing was, doing stupid things or getting stuck on something.
Yeah.
The very beginning of this, about getting out of the room to start with, right? Like say, everything's a box, isn't it? Basically, every item in your inventory is a box of some description. And the key is basically a box.
Yeah, that's why it's confusing,
right? If on your descent video, with your crowbar, when you're trying to get out open that, when you're trying to crowbar that thing open.
Yeah.
I could have put a video up of me trying to get out of the bloody shuttle for the same amount of time, because I was taking the thing getting it out of my inventory, and I was that close to it. And there's that there's like where you put the key. The key is a box. If you put the box onto the lock, so to speak, and I'm putting it on there and letting go, and nothing's happening. And I'm thinking, how can I not open the lock? How can I not use this item on that item? And what it was, I was that close to the lock that there's an option. There's a thing that comes up saying interact, and because I was that close, I wasn't seeing that. So I'm just trying to put this key into the lock. And it's like, why isn't this working? Finally, I'd stood back. I took it out of the key box out of my inventory, and because I was stood far enough away, a line was drawn from the key to the lock, and it said interact.
Yeah.
At which point I'm thinking, oh, how do we interact? What do I press? You let go. So you have to use the key in the lock. You stand back from the door, take the key out, aim it at it so the laser pointer's at the lock, and then you let go. It's like,
who's come up with that brilliant idea?
I don't know.
Because that sounds awful.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I'm hearing everybody loving this game, like in the chat. Miss Alsters, he loved it.
Yeah, I know.
Enjoyed it.
I was moaning about it on Discord the other day, and Michelle was saying she really loves it. And I think the problem is I don't think this is my type of game. I'm not entirely sure. I've not played enough. The problem I had was the interface got in the way so much it overrode everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think from that point of view, that didn't affect me as much as it did you, but I do understand because I don't necessarily like the interface, and I think the fact everything is a block is only serviceable to making it look clean and tidy. That's all it is. It doesn't. It's not that great, but with the game itself, I mean, performance is great. First of all, on PC anyway.
It's on Quest as well. Performance on Quest is really good.
I was thinking while I was playing this on PC because it's not the graphics not outstanding or anything like that on PC. I was thinking this is probably going to be a really good Quest game. Actually, thinking about it, but the skybox when the sun's going down and you've got the Milky Way appearing in the sky and stuff, I think that looks really good. The atmosphere when you're wandering around is really good as well in this. But the game itself feels a bit like it's early game No Man's Sky. It's like the early portions of playing No Man's Sky.
Yeah, it looks similar from what I saw there.
Right,
video,
and grinder.
Yeah, even when you completed a task, the little thing what pops up and the little jingle it plays, it's blatantly taken from No Man's Sky.
Yeah, and it's that the gameplay is like a very small portion of what No Man's Sky offers. Like you're building this base, you're collecting resources and powering the base and doing all these things, at least at the moment. And that is like early game No Man's Sky. After a while, you don't deal with all that stuff. You get things that automate everything, so you don't have to worry about it. But this feels like a game that is entirely revolving around that specific gameplay mechanic of early gameplay in No Man's Sky. Yeah. And it's a survival game, so you've got to monitor your food, you've got to monitor, fatigue and things like that. And people
is there any threat in this game? That's what I want to know.
Environmental threat, as far as I know.
No, actual, like creature threats.
Oh,
like
no.
Every other survival game, there's something, isn't there, in the landscape? What you get too close to it, you're going to get attacked or whatever. And this is another problem or an initial thought I've had from it. Again, I've not played enough. But it feels like my actual thought was take Subnautica, take away all the plants, take away all the animals, take away all the things that can attack you, and then drop it on, and all the water, and then and drop it on Mars.
Yeah,
it is supposed. I have heard that described. I've heard it described as Subnautica on Mars. I've heard, seen that a few times as well.
There's those places, aren't you? Once you've built up your base and do stuff, I've not got to this point yet, but then you're supposed to deactivate these stations or something like that.
There's 10 towers, 10 jamming towers.
So maybe when you get into there, Michelle was just put in chat as well, robots. Maybe there's some robots and security and stuff like that within those towers or something like that. It could get to that point. So yeah, again, we've not played enough.
I'm kind of intrigued by it, even though how I use the pointers and stuff. Maybe that would bug me as well, but. Yeah. I'm going to be totally ignorant and say I'm sure I remember Rog posting something about this in Discord, but I have no memory of getting access to this whatsoever. So I can only apologise because I'll try this on Quest. Have we got access to this then?
Yeah, I did post when we got.
I'm sure you posted something like saying, "Oh, I'll give it a go," and I for some reason, just my mind's just gone.
I
said when I'd put the into the Recentered account, I said they've sent us a Quest version as well, but I've not redeemed that. So if anybody wants it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Because I'm not. I'll play it on PC anyway. I'm not bothered either way. But yeah, Lee,
I'm sure it'll be one of those preview access things. Though I'll have a check.
It is.
I'll have a check.
But yeah, like I say, when I was playing this though, I was thinking because the graphics not fantastic on PC or anything like that. It does look a little bit like a Quest kind of game. Yeah. Apart from certain things, some things are really atmospheric and do look good. But a lot of the time, so I was thinking, maybe on Quest this is pretty decent.
Oh, they said they fixed the menu button on Steam. That was another problem.
Yeah,
Because
it's early access as well, right? So.
Yeah. PD had exactly the same issue. On the PC version, when you go to rotate an object, when you put an object down and you press the button to rotate it, the button also brings a menu up instead. And it's like, oh, good grief! It's like, well, apparently that has been fixed. It didn't do that on the the Quest version anyway. When I tried that, and I tried the Quest version and I managed to do it because I played the PC one and got all the teething troubles out of the way with the way the interface worked. I managed to do in 10 minutes on the Quest version, which took me over an hour when I first tried it on PC. Because when I was on PC, the controls were just doing my head in so much. I think having a day, stepping away from a day and letting things sink in on a what buttons you press mentally sort of level. When I went to the Quest version the following day, it was like, okay, I'm a bit more aware of what does what now. And the Quest version, if this is the sort of thing you look at it, you think, I quite like the look of this, build a base, survive on Mars type thing. The Quest version, it ran great.
Did you notice?
Perhaps they could improve the lighting. Sorry, Gary. I've just noticed then when you've been like lasering rocks, there's no like light coming onto the rocks as well from the laser, from the different colours. Do you know what I mean? It's just on the laser itself. I've noticed that. So maybe that's something they can work on. I mean, it's early access. I can remember Subnautica being awful early access, and look how that turned out.
Is this the PC version, Rog? That
this is the PC version. What's on the screen? Michelle says Quest version looks pretty good. I don't have the Steam version. The only difference really between the PC version and the Quest version is you can see some aliasing on sort of like bright items on sort of high. When you're in the shuttle, there's these metal shutters. And you can really see you can see some aliasing on those bits like that. But on PC, obviously, you can wang the resolution up and anti-aliasing or whatever, and it's. But yeah, apart from that, they pretty much look identical.
Was the skybox?
This would be really good though. Like it's a survival thing. If they had like massive dust clouds suddenly come in and all your things got destroyed and
you might
find some alien structures and things like that, that'd be really cool if they could add things like that to it.
Yeah, your potato crop gets ruined, that sort of thing.
yeah.
Did you notice if the skybox? Because one of the things I know I've mentioned the skybox and the Milky Way when the sun's going down, and you see it's really high resolution on PC.
Oh right.
So I don't know if that looks the same on Quest or not. That's one of the things I probably didn't notice.
I've not noticed on either platform really. In all honesty.
No, I just noticed that the Milky Way appearing in the sky as the sun was going down, and maybe it doesn't every night, but it did on certain nights.
I did notice when I was playing the Quest version, there was on one of the very large rocks, the texture detail was really low, almost as if it was a smaller rock that had been expanded up really big.
Oh right, yeah.
And the texture was low res. But then again, I honestly don't know if it's the same on PC. I really didn't notice.
For an early access game, though, I will say, usually you expect early access games to perform really badly and all of this kind of stuff. This doesn't perform badly, and it seems like a solid game as it is now. It's just might not necessarily like everything that it's doing in terms of interface and stuff like that. I can understand that.
I was playing the PC one at 120 FPS.
Yeah.
And recording. So yeah, it's fine. I don't know what the Quest version runs at, but I say it's solid. I'm a bit more positive towards it after playing the Quest version and knowing how the controls work. I just still don't like the controls for a VR game. Yeah, it's like
it's weird.
When you pick those guns up at the beginning, okay, fine, have a button to cycle between the three different modes, because you've got your extractor, you've got a scanner, and you've got your building tool, haven't you? So why can't I just pick a single gun up and then cycle through modes on that gun and then holster it? So that tool is on my like a pistol.
Yeah.
Like a sidearm, and then be able to pick it up off the side like any other VR game. Why do I have to hold a button down, move over to an option menu, and then have it appear? It's just, I don't know. It just annoyed me to see some. It feels like a regression in interface design.
Yeah. Well, it's we'll see what they do with it anyway. But I don't necessarily think it's a bad early access game at this moment in time. If it's this is your kind of game, because it's very specific. I mean, this genre is specific to survival. That genre, and it's really playing into that. So of course you gotta like that anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's Surviving Mars Pioneer, available now on PC and Quest in early access. And that's all we've got on our list. We didn't put anything else.
Nothing down for news, nothing down for upcoming games.
And it's taken us taken us 2 hours to go through all that.
There we go.
Say way more.
I mean, that midnight walk things are. We've unfortunately not got access to try that yet. I'm hearing great things about it on flat screen. Everybody's loving it. VR, not so much. So that's what I'm hearing at the minute.
I know Steve picked it up, didn't he? And he was on about refunding it.
Yeah.
Which is like, ooh, that's rare.
I'm hearing everybody. I mean, I'm hearing life-changing messages to devs about the flat screen version. So it's like, well, okay.
Well, I've been looking at it on Reddit because the PSVR 2 version apparently was a little bit low res and people were complaining about that. But then it seems to have changed the tide on the PSVR subreddit now because people seem to be defending it and really enjoying it. So, I don't know. If I didn't have a load of other stuff to play at the moment, maybe I'd pick it up. But,
just come back to, I think, to Surviving Mars there, Artful said, but why should it be like every other VR game? Well, why shouldn't, if I want to pick something up in VR, why shouldn't I be, don't you think the default action should be to reach out and just pick it up? That's what a VR controller's for, to literally interact with the stuff in that virtual world. Why use a laser pointer?
They're substituting that action for a laser pointer, which is basically a mouse. I mean, that's really what it is. It's
a mouse.
You're treating the interface like a mouse-based PC interface. I understand. I don't think it's the best interface or anything like that, and I'm not going to defend it from that point of view. I don't. It didn't cause me as many problems as it did you, but. When the problem is everybody has all these different expectations around VR as well, motion controllers and stuff. And it's like one of the examples actually is like Aces of Thunder, for example, because people really like those virtual controls in flight sims and plane games and stuff like that. I can't stand them. Even the virtual HOTAS in No Man's Sky, I don't like it. I'd rather just play with thumbsticks with that. But some people won't play a flight sim or a flying game without those virtual controls. I think that, once again, we go back to this point all the time. It's what certain people want in VR, what certain people don't want. And I think I do get your point, though. The whole point of motion controls is to have hands within that virtual world.
Yeah. Do you know what? In all honesty, it to me, it felt like it had played better with the joypad. Just let me sit down and play with the joypad. If you're going to take away the need to use your hands, really,
yeah, it'd be less confusing. I will say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just navigate through the menus.
Yeah.
Using it. Yeah. I don't know. It's early access. Maybe things will drastically change. Who knows? So, any more Mini the Minx related news items or?
Beryl the Peril, Rog. Beryl the Peril.
Beryl the Peril.
Yeah, I don't know where Beryl. She must have been in Dandy. I remember the name, but I can't.
Oh, Dandy. Yeah, maybe. Look, if anybody knows, you know what? I'm going to Google it. Screw it. Who cares?
We've got the technology.
That's it. Is there anything else anybody wants to mention?
No, I don't think so.
Do you want to mention anything, or are we not? I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't know.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, we'll just on a break, and then we'll see what happens in a few months.
It's the same. It's summer's definitely a no-go.
Yeah.
If something major does happen, like Deckard suddenly dropping next week because we've decided to not do a podcast for an hour long, I'm sure we'll, the occasion, if something good turns up, I'm sure we'll drop a video for, if there's anything major, but will there be anything?
Who knows? Never know.
Paradise K said, rant about the Alien Isolation motion control mod. I don't know what there is to rant about it. We ain't got it.
Not got access.
So rant about that.
I've got the subs. Anyway,
PD's put a video out about that, hasn't he? I think. Yeah. I have to watch that.
So Artful said Quest Plus is now Horizon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's called Horizon Plus, isn't it? I will have a little bit of a rant. If you want me to have a rant, I'll have a rant about this. I loaded the bloody Quest up today very quickly because before I go off on one, and it's saying games installed, and I'm thinking, well, I don't recognise that game. What the bloody hell's that? And they're all Horizon Worlds things that's showing on my installed games now.
Yeah.
I can't stand Meta. If anyone's listening from Meta, Boz, if you're listening, I'll never be a Meta ambassador. You can stick that up your arse because I don't want them to do it. And Horizons can kiss it as well because it sucks unless you're below 13 years old. There you go. That's my rant. I'll obviously edit that bit out when I get my Meta ambassador email.
You know what? I had an early morning blasting VR with my mate Paul earlier on. Again, we dropped into we're very still slowly going through into black. I think we're on chapter.
I need
15.
to pick that up. I promise I'll pick it up right so I can jump in.
Every sort of few weeks or three, we'll we've got a here there from Mr. My eyesight, I tell you. Mr. Bowen. Mr. Bowen. I thought that was an L. Yeah, Mr. Bowen. Yeah. Dump Horizon, definitely. We're in chapter 15 on Into Black, and honestly, the mission we did, the cave system, it was enormous. It was absolutely huge, and it's like, okay, so it's not a PC-looking game, but God, it still impresses you for a Quest.
Yeah, it's underrated. I think it's a very underrated game. I mean, when we tried it, it was pretty much, we had a couple of bugs and stuff, but it was great fun going through that cave system.
Yeah.
And watching Gary kill Rog thousands of times.
Well, he got in the way. That's my defense.
It's great. It was good fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. The depth of some of the chasm, you stand at the top and look down below you. I'll tell you, if you don't like heights in VR, anybody who don't like heights in VR, they'll have an absolute mare in that game.
I think Gary and me got a bit wobbly at some of the things. So,
you literally have to jump off like 100, 200 meter fluffing cliff into a chasm below or whatever.
Oh no, I wouldn't like that. I'd still be stood up there. No way.
Yeah. It really is good. Into Black. If anybody who's never played Into Black on Quest, go buy it. Single player or multiplayer co-op as well. It's really, really good. He said, Mr. Bowen said Into Black was one of my highlights in general. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Oh, Artful just said as well, Dune Awakening coming out later this month, and it should be. I guess it's a Unreal Engine title. So
yeah. I was sort of quite looking forward to. I was a bit more curious about that one because
what type of game is it?
It's sort of an MMO, I think. But I think you can have is it 3 or 4 players sort of co-op as well? But there's zones. I think there's war zones within the world. I'm not entirely sure.
Right. Yeah.
So it's an MMO sort of ish type thing.
You can download the benchmark thing, can't you? The performance thing.
Yeah. It runs really well. Yeah. It runs really well. But that was what I've been playing. Clair Obscure Expedition 33. Absolutely fantastic, and currently my game of the year. Absolutely bar none on on any system. Just playing it flat. It's so good. It's on Game Pass, or you can pick it up for under 30 quid as well.
I had 9 views on my video of it on YouTube, so I don't think YouTube likes me. So if anyone wants to put that up to 10, go check out A New Plays. On YouTube, so and that's me.
The gameplay is good. The story is really good, and I'll shut up about the story.
Get you very emotionally involved, right, Rog? Because I think it hooked me quite early on as well.
I will say it shocked me. The point I got up to earlier on, something happened I wasn't expecting. It's like, God, this is so good. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Well worth the money. Expedition 33. Go play it. Even if you don't like flat games, go play it anyway.
I really need to shoot soon because I know the missus has come back and I've got some washing that's still in the washer that I've not pegged out. So I am literally dead man talking, and I've got to go and put this washing out.
Oh dear. So anyway, if you didn't catch that at the beginning, we are taking the summer off, which summer doesn't start, I believe, till next month. So it might be 4 months, 5 months. I don't know. Anything happens, I'm sure we'll drop a video, but until then,
thanks everybody for coming and joining us. Just want to thank everybody in the chat before we forget, because I always forget that. And so thank you anybody that's commented on the chat. Anybody that's been listening, hope you have a great summer too. Try not to get too hot in VR. Go touch some grass, and we'll be back. We'll be back at some point in the year.
Yeah, we really appreciate you spending your time with us. Thank you very much. And until the next one, cheers everyone.
See you next time.
Prends soin de toi. That means take care, by the way, in French.
I've had
that waiting for an hour.
Well, I'm playing the outro.